it's the top of the hour. Charles PR, the mic bring the power. From Chicago to Green Bay, Philly to LA, they're the kings of the airwaves, paving the way. The guys cracking jokes, got you laughing out loud. Hyping you up, never stuck in the crowd. With thick hot takes, they ignite the debate. Lighting up the night, never showing up late. Never giving a fuck, they're raw and real. Breaking down the plays, they tell you how they feel. From the end zone to the final buzzer beat. Charles, PR, and Mike, they can't beat beats. In the studio, they're the masters of the game. Names up in lights, they rise into fame. With every broadcast, they turn up the heat. On your radio dial, they're the dream team. Boys with the heat, they burn through the night. Sports scores and more, breaking down the games. From city to city, they rule the airwaves. Bringing the fire, the heat never fades. Boys with the heat, they burn through the night. Sports scores and more, they're always right. From city to city, they rule the airwaves. Bringing the fire, they're the legends and the brave. So turn it up and let it blast through the street. Charles P on the mic, and that guy bring the heat. Never giving a fuck, they're always on top. With every new show, let's fucking rock.
I left that part out, Charles. Did you see that on last week?
Yeah.
That song gets more and more epic every time I hear it.
Everybody likes it. It's a fan favorite.
A couple of ways I wanted to start the show. I've been meaning to bring this up for weeks. Why aren't there solar panels over parking lots?
You mean the parking garages?
Not even just open parking lots. There's millions of them across the United States. Why don't we cover them with solar panels?
Instead of taking up farmland to cover with solar panels.
Or windmills, or regardless, even to not so much just not to bring up a conversation, which is a super valid point, Mike. It's more just a question you got to be asking society. Why the hell aren't there solar panels covering wide open parking lot spaces?
I think I have an idea.
Yeah. Should we start a nonprofit company and do this?
Most likely, because the government is not wanting to help anybody save any kind of money.
Yeah.
And if they're not having these solar panels, which ideally would help just the world in general.
Yeah. At bare minimum, like a Tesla parking lot needs to have solar panels.
I'm like, because again, if you implement solar panels to help just with power in parts of the world, imagine what eco-friendly system we could actually eventually have and do get away from all this.
Even like the Illuminates parking lot. I mean,
you're not over here just pitch black neighborhoods and streets. Because listen, if there's one thing that I hate, especially because I'm blind, is driving down the street.
Poorly lit city streets.
It's just like, why is it so difficult to put street lights on the sidewalk?
You know what else that would do? It would immediately shade areas, which would potentially save much from heat damage. Vehicles. I mean, it's just weird to me, right? Like, you've got all these people screaming about us not using paper straws, but not one of them, not one time went, hey, why aren't there solar panels over these parking lots? You're more worried about my fucking straw than you are about these environmental killing parking lots. Yeah. And you can't talk a lot if you eat avocado anything, right? Because those farms kill more than a parking lot. So if you eat avocado,
they don't want to have that conversation.
No. Apparently that's what I'm talking about. I was talking about that on another podcast. Apparently that got completely edited out of our podcast episode. You're not supposed to talk about that.
No,
they'll just delete it right out of there.
Yeah, no, sorry.
They don't want to talk about how many bees died.
No, they don't want people to know that. Apparently,
that part right there offends people. I'm like, but wait. But I thought you liked animals, but you're out here killing bees and shit.
I don't think it's people that it offends. It's a particular part of the...
It's greed.
Yeah.
But hey,
I don't know. Maybe that's what our podcast nonprofit can be, right? You want to talk about all these people in planes and yada. Maybe we've put out into the universe. That's our mark, right? So we'll see what happens. Maybe some other rich fucker will decide to do it first and go, we beat you. Oh, no.
I don't care.
Oh, darn. Thanks.
Charles needs me,
I don't even want any money from it, bro. You can have it for free.
I think Mr. Beast is already to that. He's already the one picking up all that trash and shit.
Yeah, I'm sure an idea like this would probably hit Mr. Beast or a like-minded individual sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But again, too, it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. Isn't that how you say that?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm not saying this to ruffle feathers, right? But if I had the money to put a solar panel in my big-ass yard's parking lot, I probably would, okay? I don't see a lot of those yet. And this isn't supposed to be one of those moments, anywho. It was just more of a question, right? Like, why aren't our parking lots covered in solar panels? Businesses actually should look into this. Can you imagine what doing that would do for places like Walmart or an Amazon factory, Mr. Green out there?
Or if you do, like, especially
the VA.
Like, there's that. But I was thinking, like, shopping centers, right? Because those individual businesses, now that cuts down an item on their profit and loss report because it's money they don't have to spend. So it's more money that you can pay your workers with.
It has a lot to do with, you can't just backfeed. You have to get permission from the electrical company in order to backfeed. There's a lot more to it, because I looked into it at our local We Energies, and like I read through the pamphlet and stuff. There's a lot to it. You have to. We don't have the infrastructure at a lot of these places to actually do it. It's got to have designated lines, power lines, grids, transformers. All that stuff has to be installed. It's not as easy as, hey, hook up solar panels. Where's the power go? But you got to basically have a generator in your building in order to reproduce the power. There's a lot to it.
I'm glad you brought this up, Patrick. A wise person once told me, anything worth it is never easy.
No.
True. And I just, regardless on how... and I agree with you, too, because probably one of the main things ruining this is capitalistic greed. That is the basis of the foundation of America. Even our energy bill, which we rely on for survival, must be paid. They would rather create programs to help you pay that than just utilize that money for you not to have to pay that. Like, it blows my mind. Oh, that's going to cost a lot of money to make everyone's electricity free. Yeah, until you start branching out into this intellectual side of the conversation and you start throwing solar panels over all these open fucking spaces. And with the lines and what you were pointing on, Patrick, they're already putting these lines in to help compensate for the electric car grid. So the lines are already being put in. Maybe you have to morph a couple of them, or maybe you have to put an extra line in or two, but the work is already being done. You just need to, like, proactively think. I know I'm asking the government to do a lot, but proactively thinking shouldn't be one of them.
We brought this up with Clint, and I spitballed this past another guy a long time ago on a different podcast when I was talking to him before we even started this one. The United States has 500,000 miles of power lines.
Yeah.
Our power grid is the worst of any country that is a first world country. It needs to be replaced. It is terrible. And it would take 200 years to replace our power grid. Of every worker working overtime for 200 years to replace it, because some of those are out in the middle of nowhere. They cannot be accessed. They're in the mountains. They cut through mountains. Trees have grown around them. Some of the rocks have pushed up, and they're right next to the power lines. It's just impossible.
You know what that sounds like? And I'm not, and this is to the people utilizing that excuse. It sounds like a whole bunch of not my fucking problem. You get paid by us to do the power. And if you're worried about the money in your pocket, thus why this overgrown problem or these inaccessible areas have occurred, that falls strictly under not my fucking problem. Use the money I've given you to do this.
Yeah.
It only makes sense.
That's probably the power companies. Look at UP Power, like the one up north where we're from. Like their power is way more expensive than ours is.
The Upper Peninsula power, bro, is ridiculous. Like in the month of July, the UP borrows energy from Wisconsin at 50 or 75 cents on the power fucking thing. I don't remember it exactly.
Like kilowatt hour or something like that, yeah.
And then that extra cost, because the power company up in the UP is a nonprofit, gets rolled into everyone else's electric bill, along with running meters on empty houses, unpaid, which is really crazy to me, right? All unpaid bills in that scenario
get forwarded over to the people who actually
the
pay.
Next year gets forwarded over to the people that actually pay, but then you get subpoenaed to pay the money.
Yeah.
And I've never received a return check from that company. Not one fucking time.
No. Actually, I overpaid on our local energy bill here, and they just credited my account. They didn't even ask me. They just credited my account. I'm like, but I had an overage, and it was like $60-some. It wasn't like 27 cents or something. I'm like, really?
It's what I honestly believe, and I don't believe this is going to take like a civil war or something. Sometimes you can get real crazy in holes in dark room chat rooms. But I truly believe that sooner rather than later, an educated political push will occur. And it's no longer going to be this random career politician. I was laughing the other day. I said, there should be a judicial political system where when you're done with your fucking term, you go up and it's, did you do what you said you were going to do? Have you done anything important? Get out of here. But anywho, I believe that people are going to run on these specific reasons, right? Like the power grid, the infrastructure, yada, yada. Maybe. I'm not against anything. My life is still young.
Governor Sayers, I could see that.
Yeah, first things first on my list. I'm probably going to run to be an alder person in Neenah, and I'm going to get South Commercial repaved. I'm going to get South Commercial repaved. This is true. Okay? Hashtag Neenah.
It's
Wisconsin.
I will re-register. I will relocate to register just to vote for you.
Hell yeah!
You don't got to re-register in this country. You just pretend like you're a dead person and just vote.
Yeah, show up to early primary voting when you don't even know who the primaries are.
Or just go to a nursing home and fill it out for them. That's all you got to do.
I would be interested to see what the ballot looks like in Michigan's early Democratic primary voting.
Speaking of which, come on, did you see the Hulk Hogan Detroit Lions thing? Let's bring it back to sport. Lions fans are mad that he brought in Hulk Hogan to talk to the team.
Hulk Hogan aged terribly,
dude. Yeah,
steroids will do that to you.
His body and the skin never recovered.
There's not enough Botox on this planet to fix that man's skin.
Yeah,
all the surgeries, you could tell that man's been under the needle. I don't know how many times to fix God knows what, and it's just he looks
like a melted can of biscuits. That's what he looks like.
He does. A question was brought up again pre-show about the new movie Deadpool. Don't worry, no spoilers. You don't have to turn us off. This isn't going to be anything. This is a promise from yours truly. But Patrick had then brought up a great point that since the Big C, movie theaters have been terrible. And not that the show has been terrible, which...
No, not at all.
Depending on what we're talking about, for a really long time we could go there. But regardless, it's not that the environment is terrible. It's just movie theaters still seem to not have recovered. And I've noticed that also in recent marketing for movies, where the top individuals in the film are coming on and explaining reasons why you should watch it in the movie theater, or explaining reasons why they wouldn't choose to watch this type of movie at home, but in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Going to Deadpool reminded me of going to Infinity War. The movie theater and that Infinity War, everyone was laughing, cheering.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a collective group enjoying a show, and Deadpool brought that yet again. I went today. And it was an absolute fantastic movie. I wouldn't argue with anyone who came to me and told me that it was better than Infinity War. I think personally that it was the best Marvel movie since Infinity War.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
And I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed all of the fourth walls in this Deadpool. Just,
I can only imagine.
and they're all very significant. So I can't tell you anymore. I can't tell you anything else other than that.
Just got one more question for you.
Yes.
Would you pay to see it again?
Yes.
That's all I need to hear.
Yeah. I mean, without question. It's hot this week. I'm probably going to. Those seats in the DXL screen theater, so amazing. You get your own recliner with, the noise is intense. It was so cool. Marcus Theater Group there in Appleton, they do a really good job. 20 minutes of previews pre-show was ridiculous. I'm not sure.
They're just trying to make their money back on that. That might be part of it too.
Well, but I completely understood because of how empty previous movie theaters. When the wife and I went to see Avatar a couple days after it came out, same scenario as Deadpool. I'm not going to go see a movie when it first comes out. Like, that's not my life anymore. I can just not be on the internet for a couple of days and then go watch the movie. That's super simple for me.
I just mean opening weekend
or keep scrolling. Yep.
Hey, Paul, your mic is super low, dude.
Opening weekend, Patrick. Yeah, absolutely. And that's so we went today. Perfect. So we went today and we got there. It's funny because I kept it like I was in that pre-Big C mindset. I brought us to the movies 30 minutes, or I think it was like 40 minutes before it started, right? Because I wanted the good seats.
Marcus Theater, Charles?
Once I got there, I realized I should have used the app, bro. We got lucky. We got super center seats, dead center, dead middle, row F, 14, 15, and it was perfect. We got super lucky. So yeah, I'll be using the app from now on, definitely.
I just like it to be able to pick your seats ahead of time.
Yeah, and one of the best parts about this. I can't stress this enough. No matter what you've seen before the movie came out, no matter what you heard before the movie came out, nothing has been ruined for you yet. Not a damn thing. No matter what you know, you're wrong. And that's how we'll leave it.
I just love Deadpool in general. Ryan
Reynolds is the perfect Deadpool.
This may sound homo, but I low-key have a man crush on Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, that's not homo.
That man is hilarious.
I don't think you're.
That he's in.
Oh, I can't say that.
For me, I'm like, listen. The movie that he did
getting better
with
at this.
the fictional characters.
That
movie was fucking brilliant to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
it's
absolutely.
supposed to be for kids. But I'd give two flying bucks.
Free Guy was good too, man.
Free Guy was
and it was not only was it hilarious,
stupid,
but the concept was super original. Like I've never seen somebody take an NPC and make him the headliner of the movie. Guy. Literally, it was done so well.
Good.
And the fact, and at the end, when they were making fun of big blockbuster movies with the Hulk and Captain America and shit, I was like, this. Coming from a guy who's in the Marvel universe is taking a shot at the Marvel universe. It's genius. It's
Ryan Reynolds
fucking
movies.
Amazing.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, just like I do enjoy Nickelback. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I liked the Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds in it, just because it had Ryan Reynolds in it. I was a Ryan Reynolds fan during those moments, and you
know how much shit I get for saying that Green Lantern movie. I liked it. Was it fantastic? No, I know it wasn't like over the top great, but it was a damn good movie. I don't care.
Yep.
So Green Lantern is gonna always be cartoonish because of the premise of what his powers are.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I hate about that movie is the villain and the way they made him Parallax and the way they made him. It was just too much overacting and over villainy. Like it was so stupid. But
so I do give Marvel credit. Oh, go ahead.
No, but Ryan Reynolds in that movie is perfect. His personality matches the comic book personality of who you want.
Yeah. Marvel figured out how to tell a story on the big screen. And that was the biggest problem with all of the superhero movies before Iron Man. If we're being honest.
Except Blade.
Well, 100% except Blade. Oh my God.
Just say it.
I already know what he's gonna say.
No, I just really love it. Ryan Reynolds was in, what was he in? Blade
Trinity, and I
Trinity.
love that movie. I
That's
fucking love.
so good. So
Jessica
good.
Biel was a badass. Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes
back
is still
on
my.
bro.
What's that?
Yeah.
Triple H was even in that movie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that was Triple H.
Yeah.
You go back and
Yeah, they even did his thing.
You got Wesley Snipes, who's playing this badass daywalker, serious dude, and Ryan Reynolds is talking shit, calling the female vampire cock guzzling thunder cunt, like all of this shit. And Wesley Snipes isn't like a funny dude, so to have that shit in a serious Blade movie, I think it was the perfect tone. I love the way that series went out, and I can't wait to see him as Blade again, because I have a feeling he's going to come back as Blade again.
You know, one of the things that I loved about how with the whole Deadpool Ryan Reynolds thing, I think it was in Deadpool 1, where he made those cameos with the old Deadpool, and then he went to the Ryan Reynolds shit and
he abused his timeline.
Like, the fact that you're able to make fun of your own shit in your own movie and still be like, Fox had a real issue telling a story. Yeah. Moving forward. So yes, I don't normally, but please, if you are and if you do, go watch the movie. You will not be upset.
Yeah, me and the wife are going to make it a movie date.
Olympic medal count right now, as it stands, I'll refresh because I know things are happening as we're talking. Okay, yep, everything's still. So Japan and Australia right now are tied in gold, but Japan has more overall medals at 7. United States is in third at 3, but has the medal count currently at 12. Now, Patrick had brought up something, all of you actually started talking about it pre-show, and about the slow start. And this has just been Olympics for us often. The first couple of days, I'm shocked to see us even in the top 3. I thought we were going to be more around the top 5. But it just seems like those first few events, we just have Olympians because we have a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
The Solemns, and it's not like there was the cycling event and the weather. The weather at the beginning of the Olympics had a lot to do with it. A couple of our favorites in the cycling event there had terrible accidents. One lost a bike, and then when the second bike came out, chain got thrown off that because the dude slipped and fell, and he was just walking. So that was pretty intense, but she still ended up getting in pretty close. We did end up getting a bronze medal there, though. But like the solemn events, and I believe...
Did anybody happen to find out what the hell happened with that women's basketball? There was a Nigeria's basketball team didn't make it on the boat or something?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Nope, I'm boycotting the Olympics after that opening ceremony. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So
Paris, let's just be honest. France and Paris have a lot of stuff wrong with it right now. That was probably the least of their worries.
Right.
They were going to do something stupid regardless.
Watching it, I felt, so I've got my cousin down here for vacation. The wife's on vacation. We were watching it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this feels like a fucking Disney production, if I'm being honest. And a few moments later, because Chris is like, when's the princesses coming out and whatnot? And I was like, dude, I was just thinking that this was like a Disney production. And then I'm sitting watching this.
They had princesses, all right. They had bears.
They had queens.
I'm sitting watching this thing happen, and the wife looks at me, menage a trois. They're talking about a threesome. I'm like, this is national television. There ain't no way they're talking about a threesome.
At France, though, they're weird.
World.
Yeah. It's so France. They're weird like that.
Sure enough, it went from the threesome immediately to that. I looked at it as a side shot from the red carpet, but apparently they were attempting to recreate some picture of Jesus at the table with all of his Last Supper.
It's one of the most significant events in biblical history.
It's the supper right before he gets crucified, like right before he gets taken away and crucified.
I would like to point out that me watching the show, not necessarily, I don't want to say I'm not familiar with that, but I did understand it completely. They did a terrible job at trying to do whatever they were trying to do. And we could point out random things about it specifically, but just overall in the total package, I didn't even realize what was going on. I just based it together with the randomness that was the show. The lady with the head cut off and old boys out there just jamming on the side of that building. That was effing awesome. That was so cool. They only gave us like 40 seconds of that, and then immediately went back to this.
The freak show.
When at the end of it, I looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, that's fucking France. Like, literally, that's all you can say. That's fucking France.
What gets me is, this is what really irritates me. And I'm on this brutally honest kick right now, so everybody forgive me, but they would never do that to another religion. They would never do that to Islam or Buddhism or Hinduism. But Christianity, and I won't rant on this too long, but I feel like I need to get it off my chest. Christianity is constantly mocked, and we are told that we're the evil ones, and we're the intolerant ones, and we're hateful. But yet you openly mock one of the holiest depictions in our faith, and let it be widely known that you couldn't give a shit less about offending Christians. But if somebody says something against Palestine, oh, you're a bigot. You support genocide. You support Zionism. Like, all of this stuff. For that reason,
Zoltan,
I just can't do it. Like, it's so offensive, and people are not loud enough about it. And that's what pisses me off, is they're not loud about it, because Christians have become super tolerant. So,
to me, the loudest person in the room has the most to lose. And when you fear something, a lot of time, the unimaginable thing to do is just scream out loud at it.
You're right, Mike. Yeah.
No, Mike is 100% right. I'm not walking away from that.
Country, they're not getting away with this shit.
My point with this, my point with Mike's thing, is that Christianity is an empire. And it's going to take a hell of a lot more than some sticks and stones to bring down an empire. How we view it personally needs to be more of a, I don't want to say water off the back, because you're right, Mike, it is unimaginable. But being able to walk through it is one of the, if I'm remembering correctly, is one of the teachings of Christ. It's not so much embrace it and acknowledge it as it is rise above it, become, listen quieter, or however those words are necessarily said. It's easy to fear and act out loud when you feel like you're second fiddle. And that's all these people are. They're just tiny individuals who hide behind their faith as a mask for hate.
My wife is one to tell me, because listen, my wife, if you know my wife, Mike knows her. We are a Christian family. Like, we are, like, we do this. And the one thing that she always tells me that she can't never understand is, when it comes to me, that I am not quick to anger. Yes, did that offend me in a way? Because listen, y'all barking up the wrong tree here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is not. But at the end of the day, the fact that you're trying to insult our religion is a form of flattery to me.
Flattering,
you're thinking about us. You're thinking that you're going to offend us. And yes, you offended us. However, I'm not going to let you get me to the point where I'm going to retaliate, because then I'm going to give you what you want at the end of the day.
Yep. And that's the thing, too, and that's the kind of caveat off of that, and then we can move on. But to caveat off that, people talk about free speech, and this absolutely pissed me off. Like, I was very upset by this whole thing. But free speech doesn't mean anything to speech that you like. It's the speech that you don't like that you're protecting. So for me, while I'm pissed off personally and I'm offended personally, they are allowed to do that, to have that expression, because I am a First Amendment absolutist. And yes, I know this was in France, this was not in America, but for now, France has the same freedom of speech laws. So while it is very upsetting and insulting, I do, just like burning the American flag, I disagree with it. I hate the fact that people do it, but you're allowed to do it as a First Amendment right. So I will fight for their ability to do this. But like Paul said, you are playing a dangerous game. God will not be mocked. It says so in every holy book ever. So that's just my piece on it. I felt like I needed to get it off my chest.
Yeah, so to end the Olympic chatter, though, move on to some other sports. It's weird that the Olympics would allow that, but then they don't allow people who say they are or what they feel they are participate in those types of sports. Just feels like, hey, here's a puppet show to shut you up because
But you can't compete.
But you can't compete. So y'all could be happy about it all you want. I kind of saw it for what it was. Here's your treat. Please be quiet. Now let's get on with the sports.
Go sit at the kiddie table and leave us alone.
You know, you could do exactly what you want. I don't get mad at the kindergarten class and they're painting random pictures, right? To me, that's all that was. To me, that's all. When you're out there screaming about all this, you just look like a kindergartner mad because your mom didn't pack you chocolate milk. She gave you a fucking white milk. And when you start looking at it like that, it's just like somebody being afraid to go on stage. Imagine the audience in their underwear.
I guess you're right. I didn't even think about it like that. But now that you say that, it's, oh yeah, this is appeasement. It's just, hey, the adults are competing for medals. You go over there. There's your little display of affection. Leave us alone.
I've said this on a few chats too. If you need something like that to make you happy, then go have it.
By all means.
I don't care. Just like these playoffs, which are coming up not quickly, but preseason football's coming up pretty quickly.
Thank the Lord
Thursday
in heaven.
can't get here any faster.
Y'all got the Hall of Fame game, huh?
Yeah, baby.
This is not wrong, eh, Patrick? Conversations have been weird this offseason. Many of us are very grateful at the NFL football
I think
season.
Patrick has something to get off his chest about a certain somebody.
Who's that?
Mr. Dipshit Nick Wright.
Oh, Nick Wright. Did you see this? All right, yeah, Nick Wright. Yeah, did you see his top 8 teams that he's got in the bubble?
I wish he wouldn't have put my Bears on that bubble because I'm tired of these expectations. And then the fact that he kept the Packers out.
Hey, bro, he didn't throw a single interception in 166 pass attempts on third downs while he was at USC.
No, he threw them all in for a second.
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh man,
hey man, I was just trying to help the guy out.
That's actually a crazy stat. It's actually more impressive to be able to do that than it is to not throw them.
Yeah, I do that in college football video games too, which is basically what you're doing in the Pac-12.
I threw a pick 6 the other day on a freaking fullback screen, and the fullback was 3 yards behind me. The guy came. It was in Dynasty, and the dude came clean, and he picked the ball off on the pitch.
Blew past your O-line and.
Yeah, you picked it off on the pitch, and I just screamed. I'm like, "Are you shitting me?" He did lose. He did lose 31-10 though, so it was okay.
Yeah.
But still, that's ridiculous to come clean and pick off a pitch. That's
yeah. Right now, I've either dominated or got my ass dominated, and it's just sometimes
it's one or the other. I lost 73-45 the other day.
Yeah,
I just scored on every play.
Yeah.
I see. So I haven't got the game yet because I don't have my gaming system available to me. But all the clips that I see, because I like to watch people playing online and talking shit, it's like pitch fests. Like you can't tackle anybody because they're gonna pitch the ball backwards, and they're gonna keep running and scoring any fucking way.
I'm not pitching shit. I'm coming straight for your throat.
Yeah, that's probably why I lose quite a bit too.
You can't cover anybody in college.
It's one of the hardest things for me when I first started playing, and even getting back into it. It's something I have to remind myself is that just because I know how college football is supposed to be played, or football is supposed to be played, it doesn't mean that's how I'm going to win online. When I go up against somebody who's also trying to play football the right way, I win those games more often than not. But when I go up against somebody who's like, yo, dude, this is a fucking video game and I'm about to beat your ass in these exploits. And I call them exploits and you may call them exploits, but they're not exploits. They're just the fucking things in the game.
People that you play in Black Ops on Call of Duty that find all the glitches and the freaking find the gun and max that gun out and then just get really fucking good at it and they never pick anything else up. Same thing with the football game. They figure out what coverage can't be covered by this receiver. Charles said it. This guy's got it. Anything over an 80 for speed, you cannot cover him. Slant, you just hit him. You'd hit him in stride. It's over. Touchdown every time.
So just like all the DBs in this game are trash.
The only
defense in this game is unless you're in like
the defense coverage in these games is not that great.
And you look at it and you're like, all right, it is a 76 because it's fucking college. It's not my fault that this guy's got a full team of 90s.
It's like Patrick said, if you got a receiver or even a running back in that receiver position and he just cuts way faster than that DB, Nine times out of 10,
he's gonna burn him.
Drop it in there, and he's gone every time.
The post, the streak, or the slant. If you,
this is the thing. If you're pulling up man to man, if you're man to man, if I see you all the way in the left, and you are man to man, face mask to face mask,
you're
getting dusted 9 out of 10 times. You're getting dusted. And
hold the ball for 2 seconds and lob it.
Gone.
Yeah.
You mean the slant in the middle from the inside?
Yes.
Yeah, you're like
and he breaks that corner. It's a wrap.
I'll tell you guys the one thing that's ridiculous, right?
I can't wait for all four of us to get on it.
A 2 halfback set. You play action, but throw the other halfback on a wheel.
Me and Mike,
that eats at the table. It's stupid. Now, if the running back ends up on a linebacker and you've got him running in space,
you're never gonna ever catch that running back.
College.
He's not there. Yeah,
playing online it brings you back to reality. It definitely humbles you.
See, that's why. Look,
you think you're doing shit in Dynasty and Ultimate Team when you're playing against a computer, no matter what level you're on. But then as soon as you play online, whether it's with the original rankings of the players or you're playing Ultimate Team online, you get humbled real fucking fast.
Yeah. Well, the only difference between All-American and freshman, the only difference is you get more kick returns and punt returns in freshman than you do in All-American. But it's because when I was first starting it, and I was playing through like freshman and JV, I would throw a ball and I'd be like, oh man, that's going to be picked in All-American, and it never was. I'm like, oh man, it gets picked online, but
that's
you
crazy.
can throw a lob if you want to.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited about this though, is because every football game, basketball game, I always put it to like rookie or easy, and I just play because I enjoy beating the shit out of the computer.
Yeah.
I don't want to struggle. I want to be the man. I want to be a virtual LeBron James and just beat the shit out of you. My created character is going to break Wilt Chamberlain's record 87 times, and let's go. That's how I want
in the first game. You're going to do that in the first game.
In the baseball game before the All-Star break, I generally have every record available in one season.
By All-Star break, I got like at least 70 to 80 home runs.
Dude, I hit 105 home runs before the All-Star break.
Brian said in the chat, I don't give a flying fuck about what you think we should be doing. I paid $70 for this game. If I want to play this shit on freshman or varsity, I'm going to play it on freshman and varsity. If I want to drop 150 points on FCS West, that's what I'm going to do.
I get past when
how to do your high school teams yet? Go into the download thing? That's fun.
Yeah, is it? I think what we should do, arguably, is probably start a fantasy season, like a league or something like that.
And we all join in.
Just once a week we go on there, Wednesdays or Saturdays, doesn't matter. Once a week, and you play your game, and if you don't play your game, it gets fast forwarded on Thursdays or on Sunday. So
just give me a little bit of time to save up for a fucking
we're not
game
going
system.
anywhere.
Wow.
I don't know. We also have plenty of time to practice.
Yeah, and even still, we start one now, we start one later, we start 50 of them, and
it's gonna be. I'm excited. Just because I miss college football. Like, I miss, what was it, NCAA, like 2K5 or whatever was the last, 2K15
It was so cool because old boy was on it there. Shoelaces, wasn't he? Shoelaces, yeah. And then the next one that comes back, I'll play. That's what I'm saying, Donovan Edwards, baby. He went off my first season playing my player, dude.
I'm just glad that they haven't 508 yards one game. Yet.
Oh yeah.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, Charles. Playing on defense is boring as shit.
Yep,
even with the 99er?
Even with the 99 middle linebacker, it is
dude.
the most boring.
Why are you doing middle linebacker?
Even cornerback is just boring.
No. You do the hybrid safety. Yeah, do the hybrid safety linebacker because you get free range to move around. You could be on the line.
I'll try that tonight. Try that.
I can't remember what defense you have to switch your defense to in order to be able to have the free range to go over.
All I know is I started a quarterback and I went to Michigan, and Edwards ain't getting shit because I'm running the ball every single time. He can suck my toe.
Charles doesn't let anybody else get in the game. I understood what Charles was posting the stats of. When are they going to take me out? When do I get a rest? because I had 9 touchdowns at halftime, and I was like, "Why are they not benching?
Why are they not?
I mean, why are they still
I
acting
did the
passes?"
same thing.
and it's just random.
Touchdowns.
I had
10
to
touchdowns
audible
by
out
halftime.
in one place.
And I'm like, they're still gonna let me beat these guys? Like,
Oh, dude, they would throw the shuffle pass in there, and it would go for a touchdown every time. It didn't matter, 99 yards, 48 yards, 2 yards, and then it's a touchdown pass, and I'm like,
whatever.
Yeah, there's another 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You're like 10 for 10 and 400 yards passing and 9
I swear to God, I think I had 78 touchdowns my first season.
I didn't win the
78
Heisman.
touchdowns.
I had 8,000 yards passing, and I didn't win the Heisman.
Didn't win the Heisman. Yeah, I didn't win the Heisman in my first season. I won it my second season.
Some dude from Texas Tech had 56 touchdowns and 22 rushing.
Yeah,
touchdowns.
Surprise! Donovan Edwards won it.
Yeah,
Donovan Edwards had over 5,000 rushing yards, like 40 fucking touchdowns.
He needed to get checked for PEDs.
Every time he touched the ball, dude, it didn't matter where I was. He was just fucking gone, bro. The next guy was even, dude.
Cabana?
The next guy was even better. No, my next season, somebody transferred from Texas or something, and fucking dude went off. He couldn't break any of Donovan Edwards' records, though. I'm sorry. 44 touchdowns in one season, over 5,000 rushing yards. Do better.
But talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, they got Cole Cabana on there. It has just as fast as Edwards. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. Dude, I tell you what, if Alex Orji can control a deep ball, Michigan's offense is going to be a hell of a lot scarier than you think.
Yeah,
just based off of the speed on the offense.
The fact that his name is Orgy still cracks me up to this day. And
did you ever...
Dude, that RG3 bit.
The Michigan fans, they had to actually stop it. They had to cut the TV thing away. They used to say, "We love orgies in the end zone." That's what they had as a sign. And they're like,
talking about orgies in the end zone. So we're going to break into our playoff predictions. We're not going to do power rankings. We're not going to tell you who we think is going to win the Super Bowl. I believe that's coming next week.
Yes.
We do have teams. We do have a lot coming in, though. Football season is on us. So before we get into this, actually, let's talk about some Jordan Love news. Congratulations, Jordan Love. I would like to remind everyone at this point, if you're questioning the dollar amount, there's this thing called market value. And then there's also a thing called salary cap. And if you do not understand market value or salary cap, then you are probably confused, and you probably don't understand how this can happen. Patrick had said in our chat, 5 years from now, 4 years from now, let's be honest, 4 years from now, 60 is going to be the new 50.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is going to look like chump change compared to whatever somebody gets in 4 years. Yeah. And that can be very well like Caleb Williams or even who came
anybody who just
anybody that came in the last 2 years is
Daniel Jones
is going to eclipse London.
Hey, Charles.
The only thing he needs to eclipse
is Daniel Jones with Neighbors this year.
Yeah,
but I'm saying anybody in the last 2 years that just came into the league, by the time they get their contract extension from their rookie deal in the next 3 to 4 years, that $56 million is going to look tiny. Cheap compared, because it could be very well for between $60 to $65 million a year.
I said it's going up 12% a year. It's going up 12% because of sports gambling. So.
And this isn't including the global reach that is increasing.
Growing up.
Watching the Olympics, you're literally seeing NFL and college football jerseys or fans. Michigan,
we're going to have flag football in the next
Olympics. The Greg Oden jersey.
The global reach is rising.
They're going to have flag football in the next Olympics. That tells you in itself how much football is now impacting.
If USA doesn't win that gold every year, I have no hope for
the only country that has a chance. The only country that has a remote chance is possibly Canada, just because they have also a professional football league. I'm not saying that.
Well, didn't Japan just beat our ass 750 to 3 or something like that?
But that was that was bad. That was real bad.
But
Mexico has a league too. I'm just saying, it's to have the flag football or just the sport of football in the Olympics tells you where the sport is going in the direction that's going influentially.
So the money thing though, benchmarks, highest paid quarterback, highest guarantee guaranteed money for a quarterback, yada, yada, yada. And basically, we go through this every season, and the last person to put pen to paper before the season starts holds that title until the very next person puts pen to paper in the offseason. It's just how these things work. And it befuddles me, too, to have random conversations about, is he the guy? Take a look around the league. How many years has teams asked themselves, is this the guy? Is this the guy? Is this the guy? And how many of those teams would have killed to have the last 10 weeks of a guy that we just had in Jordan Love last year? Along with the fact that I believe he threw the most 2 touchdown, 0 interception games last year. I can go into the book all day. The fact of the matter is Green Bay got his guy. And to question an organization that, people come and go, but there's these things called foundational blueprints.
Yeah.
And successful organizations, regardless of the new coming in and the old going away, hire with this foundational blueprint, search with this foundational blueprint, and then move forward with this foundational blueprint, because that blueprint has brought continued success.
And clearly it works.
3 decades of fantastic quarterbacks.
More
and
than 3 decades. It's almost 50 decades.
5 decades.
5 decades.
Probably.
Y'all literally had 50 years of consistent play at the quarterback positions.
I don't know about that. The 70s and 80s were really bad for the Packers.
I'm talking about since Brett Favre, y'all had 3 quarterbacks.
That's not 50 years ago. That's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Either way.
Listen, he's not. It's 40 years.
I'm talking.
Favre showed up in 92, so you're going 90 to 2000, 2000 to 2010.
Favre was not great his first 5 seasons.
Y'all drafted another quarterback to replace him while he was there until Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm on board with what you're saying.
And you didn't draft anybody to replace Rodgers until Jordan Love. And clearly you're not replacing Jordan Love anytime soon, because you just gave this man 5 years worth of $56 million a year.
Yeah.
So
now year 2 of this, he's still going to be at $55 million. But the salary cap will have increased 24%. So you're talking.
But the thing is, he's not going to have to sign another deal. They don't got to actually even start negotiating until 8 or 2029. They got 4 or 5 years of contractual obligation of not having to worry. It's on the books already. You're paid. We will negotiate when you're on your last year, just like every other quarterback.
With the salary cap going up at least 12% every year, you're allowing yourself as a team to, if you need to find somebody to build around Jordan Love, you're able to create the space. Because we all went freaking berserk when Patrick Mahomes signed that 10-year gigantic contract.
And now he's not even, And now
he's not even the highest paid quarterback in the league anymore.
Yeah. And the other thing, oh, sorry, Mike, the other thing with this too is that no matter the name on the back of the jersey, you say the name and they're at 4 or more years, or 2, I think it's 2 or more years. So we're not even looking to pay anybody for another 2 years unless we pick up in the offseason and a sign and trade or some shit like that.
Yeah. There's no worry in Green Bay right
2 years.
No. Yep. So bare minimum, we got 2 years. 2 years from now, the salary cap will have increased 24%. So we're going to have the cap space. The NFL's doing well. So I think
not only that, didn't he leave open $12 million or $15 million for the Packers to sign somebody, a free agent as well?
Yeah, absolutely, because of the guarantee money. The guaranteed money doesn't go against the old salary caps. So as the numbers break down, it's $55 million. But I want to say he's going to be on the salary cap for, I think it's 20 or 30.
Yeah, I was going to say at its peak, it'll really be 42 realistically at its highest peak in that contract. But the other thing too is that you guys haven't mentioned, these GMs build these contracts with void years too. So moving money around and funny money, Howie Roseman for the Eagles does it every year. We just had the highest paid quarterback in April, and now he's number 7 in the league. We have A.J. Brown, who's a $100 million receiver, and we have Devontae Smith, who's a $90 million receiver, right?
Yeah.
We don't. The Eagles paid Saquon. They paid Bryce Huff. They've made these. Same thing as the Packers. The good teams lock up their stars before they have to lock up their stars. I think Green Bay was very smart to get this deal done, and you can see that Jordan Love appreciated it with that money. But you also, like Charles said, the market said itself. The freaking Jaguars just paid Trevor Lawrence almost the same amount, and he hasn't been nearly as successful as Jordan Love has. He hasn't had statistically nearly as good of a season as Jordan Love has, and he's had more time to develop. He's also had more actual playing time, and he was bred for this. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Love comes in as a backup to Aaron Rodgers, and he spanks the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas in the playoffs, treating them like they thought Dallas would treat Green Bay. And he made that defense look foolish. I think this was the smartest thing for Green Bay to do, because now you've got good wide receivers. You've got a fantastic running back who just 2 years ago was the leading running back in the NFL. He was the best rusher in the NFL. You've got a great defensive back that you signed from New York and Xavier McKinney. You have all these weapons. You've drafted really fucking this year. Green Bay is...
Except that one guy.
I know it hurts your soul,
He
Paul.
seems to be doing well in pass coverage drills.
I know it hurts your soul, Paul, but for me, and this is being objective, Green Bay has got to be the favorite to win the North.
You're not hurting my heart. I didn't have us as a favorite for shit.
And again, this is nothing on PR. I want to give Patrick a moment to give his final thought too, and PR. But how many Super Bowls has Detroit won?
0 Super Bowls, but one prior to the merger.
They have NFL championships.
They've got an NFL.
I'm not trying to bash the Lions here. Just how many generationally great quarterbacks have they had?
0.
Unless you count Stafford.
No.
No. It took him leaving to become great.
No, playing from behind doesn't mean greatness.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, Minnesota Vikings, they had a great quarterback. I remember him. What was his name?
Mr.
Fran
Culpepper.
Tarkington.
Yeah. They've had a couple really cool.
Yeah, Fran Tarkington was one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah. How much the gap in between those significant?
Probably 40 years.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins was their savior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to church on Sundays.
Because Lord knows Case
How many-
Keenum was
Wife dressed him, yeah.
How many Super Bowls has the Minnesota Vikings won?
Oh
I
wait,
don't
that's
think they won
a goose.
They lost 4 in a row, but the Bills losing 4 in a row was way more significant because I think that was consecutive, right? Because you remember that story about the Vikings? They were like, "Hey, it's cold down here, and the owners win a Super Bowl, and we'll give you heated seats." And then they built a building around them because they couldn't win a fucking Super Bowl in time. It was getting colder. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, so and then here we go, PR. And I saved you for last because you do have claim to fame. You have won a Super Bowl. That's nice. But how has your quarterbacks been? And I'm not trying to be rude here.
I'm like, we have hit or misses. Every now and then, but it's more miss than hit.
Mitchell Trubisky. Okay.
Jay Cutler, Kyle Orton.
But you didn't draft Jay. You got Jay in a trade, right?
Doesn't matter. It was here.
Justin Fields.
No, I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that. So when the other fan bases try to tell me about a fucking quarterback or how to win a championship, just wipe your ass with some toilet paper and shove it in your mouth.
I give Green Bay. This is the only knock, and I've said this before.
We should have won more.
That is my only knock.
Yeah.
To Green Bay. That is it. In my brain, as just a fan, I'm taking away bias and just straight up an NFL football fan.
Yeah.
Green Bay should, between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, them jokers should have multiple rings on their fingers.
Yeah.
At least 2 to 3 each.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they each only have one, to me, in my brain, when I say that
disgusting.
Out loud, it makes no sense to me.
To me, as a Packer fan, that's worse. To me, personally, that's worse than having a building built before I could win heated seats.
I could see that.
I'm not saying that's a huge knock, but if I had to say the only knock that I can see between the last 30 plus years between them two, that would be my only knock when it comes to Green Bay, is not having multiple championships between them two.
Patrick,
that's just weird to me.
I agree. Your final feelings on this Love contract?
Love it. He got a steal. That was way lower than what he was expected. He was expected to get 280, and he got 220. So that's where does that $60 million go?
I think, and
so
yeah. And do we think that's Tua? Do we think because Tua signed what he signed?
Absolutely,
I think
100%.
Tua signing less than what a lot of people thought he was going to get definitely played a factor in how much Jordan Love got. But when you look at the hindsight moving forward 3 to 4 years from now, it's not just beneficial for Jordan Love, because if he performs in the next 3 to 4 years, not only will he have a better team because whatever Green Bay can do in the next,
he'll only be 30 when
he's going to get a bigger contract.
Yeah,
when that time comes, he can get the money that he wants, because
he'll have more money to give him at that point in time.
And he'll be able to command that, because if he can win a Super Bowl or do deep playoff runs in the next 4 years, he can command what he wants. Yeah. Right now, he's earned this money. Sort of like Mike said, you're paying him for the future. You're paying for the return on investment. You're paying him for what's in the market value. Now, when you prove to me in the next 3-4 years that you can sustain this for years to come, now you have leverage. You're like, hey, I've kept y'all up here for the last 4 years.
Okay.
Where's my money?
So I want to we'll start with Patrick. I'll give mine, but I want to do a quick statum. We'll stat them for our quarterbacks, what we're expecting or what we would appreciate, and how I say it will be the foundation. Maybe it can morph how you guys, but so I expect 3,000 plus yards. I expect 20 plus touchdowns and sub 16 interceptions.
I'm going to write this down. Hold on. Give me a second.
If you write this down, because mine are going to be higher.
If Jordan Love gives me consistently over 3,000 yards, over 20 touchdowns, and under 16 interceptions a year, I'm gonna now that's throwing touchdowns. You can hybrid it in if you want.
How many touchdowns?
Over 20.
20 plus, and then what was the other thing you said?
Under 16 interceptions.
Okay.
In today's market, and watching quarterbacks or teams struggle without a quarterback, if Jordan Love gives us this consistently for the next 4 years, we have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Every one of those years. And our defense right now, I've never seen this before. To be as a Packer fan, I've seen this in the NFL, but as a Packer fan, this might be the year the Green Bay Packers break interception records. And it might be talked about a lot. Not enough in the beginning and way too much at the end, but it's going to be exciting. Patrick, I've laid the foundation. Build us a building.
You laid the foundation. I have very similar stats that I expect from Jordan Love in the next 3-4 years.
Yes.
I'm more in the 3,500 yard category, which is pretty average for a quarterback. I do believe with the addition
of quarterback,
yes.
Yeah.
3,500 yards, plus or minus a few. I want to see 25 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. I want to see a 2-to-1 touchdown ratio. I feel like that's
25 or more and 12 or less.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that would spell the contract. I'm not. Yeah. I love that.
He can average that for the next 3-4 years. He can definitely demand whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah. That's just hope. I'm not saying
maybe my numbers were more fan-like and yours were more analytic, and I love that.
And again,
I love that.
Having 3,000 to 3,500 yards, yes, that's low end, but I still think with the league that we're in, that's still a pretty solid average. If you're averaging that out over a 4-year period,
especially playing in the NFC North.
If that's your average over 4 years, you're not doing bad.
Yeah. So we're going to have to hybrid this a little bit, because I do realize the Green Bay Packers get double the love, double the flavor, double mint gum. Ba, 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 da, ba. We should get a fucking marketing for that.
Yes.
Yeah. But anywho, so I want a fan answer and an analytical answer from the both of you. PR, give us what you got.
As far as Caleb Williams?
As far as Caleb Williams, he's your quarterback. Unless you're telling me Mitchell Trubisky's coming back, and I'd be excited to see that.
The fan in me.
Yes.
I would love, for the love of God of everything that is holy, even if it's just for 1 yard over, just give me 4,001 yards so we can finally
have a 4,000?
Yeah. Just please.
Yeah.
Realistically, I can see him possibly being around the 3,400 yards range.
Okay, so plus 32.
Yeah, I can see that. And then touchdowns, I would be okay with 23 or more.
Is that the fan or the analytical?
That's the analytical. The fan, I want him to throw 30. But analytically, I would be okay with 23 or more.
Plus 23 on the fandom side, plus 30. I love that. I love this. The fandom side.
On the interception, that's where it gets a little fucking
wonky.
Because as a fan, give me 10 or less, or I'm going to beat your ass. Realistically,
I actually put that on my paper. I put PR 3,200, 23, and 10. Beat your ass if you go over 10.
Realistically,
because I want to come back. I was coming back to this at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Realistically, I could see him throwing maybe like 16 picks this year.
He's going to have to. He's going to be.
Because again, especially in the beginning, or not even in the beginning, I think it's probably going to come more. Most of his interceptions are going to come in the back nine when we're playing the division games. I think that's where most interceptions are going to come, because that's where the harder games are going to be for him. Because again, despite the records, division games, especially in the NFC North, are always hectic, or always there's too much animosity. Like, it's the NFC. I know the NFC East has their shit, but coming from we've been in this shit for so long, especially when it comes to Green Bay and Chicago. It's just
it's oil and water.
Yes, it's always something, regardless of what realistically, I think it's going to be 16. Randomly, I would want no less. I don't want no more than 10 touchdowns. But I'm like, this is the NFL. This isn't college anymore. To think that, so I'm like, I'm not saying that it's unrealistic, because I think Dak threw for 9 picks last year. But again, it is what it is.
I wish the fan in you would come out more. I do. I love those fan numbers, bro. Listen, Chicago, being a Chicago's Bear fan has been rough. And I understand that there are walls. There are big walls around the fan in you.
I'm not trying to get my hope up. I'm not trying to set myself up for disappointment.
But again, you're safe here.
The fan in me, I want 4,000. I want 4,00001, 35 touchdowns. I want 4,001 yards, 35 touchdowns, 10 picks. That's the fan in me. The more that I want is the 4,000 yards more than anything.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I want more than anything.
I'm still shocked, bro. I'm still shocked
about the touchdowns and the picks.
Even Kirk Cousins threw for 4,000.
Like we've been around for 100+
4,000
years.
yards is only 235 yards a game. Just that's 17
like
games.
The fact that we can't for over 100 years.
Well, I think there was like 15 games at one point, or maybe 11.
Only 250 yards a game. I mean, at that point. It's unfortunate.
If I desire anything, it's the 4,000 yards.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But those are my realistic numbers.
So you got 4,000, 35 or more, 10 or less in the fan, and then 3,200,
23 touchdowns.
23 or more, and 16 or less.
You said 10 picks or less, but 16, and I will beat, quote, I will beat that ass.
Yes. Word. You can quote me on that.
We got to get VIP tickets for that. That was beautiful. All right, Mr. Chaos. Jalen Hurts. What a roller coaster for him the last few seasons. Coming off of, he was at the heels of an MVP, and then a Super Bowl hiccup, followed by an uncontrolled offensive coordinator switch, leading into coordinator switch. He lost Steichen too, right?
And what's his nuts was a first-time offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's where I was leading into it. So Jalen now, I believe he's had something like 18 offensive coordinators, or eight or 18 offensive coordinators in his college through NFL career.
That is crazy,
dude. It's insane.
It's eight offensive coordinators in 10 years.
In 10 years,
Is that worse than Alex Smith?
Yeah.
But Jalen Hurts is a significantly better quarterback.
Right. Yes. So now coming into a season with Arthur Smith, a solidified offensive mind in the NFL, he does well, and he does well with what he has. He doesn't try to make what he has do what he wants. What are we expecting? Fan and analytical.
So analytical to realistic, you're right. Jalen has come off of 2023 where he threw his career, including college, high interceptions of 15. But he also threw his career high in yards and touchdowns. So everything went up. Unfortunately, the negative went up just as high as the positive did. But
well, and the fumbles didn't help, but the situation that caused those fumbles will be less this season, I do believe.
Much more. But the other thing is his fumbles were right on par with his fumbles every year. They were like
magnified because of the interceptions?
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
I see that.
So analytically, I want him to hit 4,000 because the last Eagles quarterback to hit 4,000 yards is Carson Wentz, and I want to erase the ginger.
Weapons, that doesn't seem like that's not a stretch by any means.
Is that a fan or an analytical?
No, this is analytical. This is what I think he's actually going to reach 4,000 yards.
Okay. So you're going to be pissed if he doesn't?
If he gets 3,900 yards, I'll be okay.
Okay, so we'll say
3,900.
So we'll say 39 plus. Okay, yeah. I wanted to know the pissed number.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, 25 touchdowns.
Okay, 25 or more.
And 12 picks.
12 picks. That's
not a very bad.
That's a great season. Yep, that'd be a great season. Hit
fan
that 4,000 for 12. Yeah.
My fan answer.
This is a Philadelphia fan, by the way. We are expecting greatness here. Come on.
I want 4,500 yards or more.
Nice.
35 touchdowns, and I'll still be okay with 12 picks because 35 a ratio of 35 to 12.
It's almost a 3-1, yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all, what's y'all's fandoms?
Oh yeah, I didn't do fans.
What's y'all's fandom? What's your fandom?
Mine is 4,000.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 30 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say 8 picks.
What about you, Charles?
4,500 plus.
Like the best scenario.
Yeah, 4,500 plus. And the reason for that, is best case scenario. Dobbs is a dog. Yep. Jaden Reed is coming back phenomenal. And
your running back is improved.
Josh Jacobs, dramatic improvement.
Charles, drum roll for the Tutties.
Yeah. Christian Watson, healthy all year.
You got 45 in the air.
Yeah. So
you got?
Let's see. A 38 plus. 38 plus, yep, and 10 or less interceptions.
So 45, 38.
I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. I've seen greatness for a long time. So to impress me, you need these numbers.
You need to be a
yeah. It's just like the Olympic gymnastic team. I've only ever known greatness, and if I'm not seeing
anything other than gold medal, it doesn't matter.
If I'm not seeing that, I know I'm not seeing greatness, and it's the same. It's got to be the same thing for the Green Bay quarterback.
If he does throw 4,500 plus and 38 touchdowns.
With only 10
not
picks?
a person, I don't even care about the picks. I was about to say he could throw 15 picks and nobody would say anything because if
he does that consistently within 4,000 or 4,500 yards for the next 3-4 years,
bro,
give him whatever he wants.
This is the thing, right? Yeah. If he can do that,
I'll buy Rodgers' house and give it to him,
bro. If he can do that, and he can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he will solidify himself as one of the 3 best quarterbacks in Green Bay of all time, unquestionably.
So, what year y'all traded for Favre in 96?
92.
92. He didn't win a Super Bowl till 98. 97. Because John Elway won the next, and then you drafted Aaron Rodgers. So you traded 92, 97. So that's 5 years after you got him.
Yeah.
You got Aaron Rodgers in 2008 or 9?
8.
I believe. 8. Yeah, because him and J.J. Watt came up and did PT with us up in Alaska.
He won his Super Bowl in 2010, correct?
Yeah.
So he got it 2 years after that.
Yeah.
So if Jordan Love realistically can win a Super Bowl within the contract that he just signed.
Yeah.
How would you rank those 3 off of their first 5 years?
That's too early. I mean, with my fandom numbers, number 1, bro.
Yeah, you'd have to put.
I'm putting numbers on it that I haven't really seen. So,
bro, if he could hit those numbers, if he could
even
hit
if it's
those
the
numbers,
analytical numbers, if he's hitting the analytical numbers and he's able to win the Super Bowl within the time frame.
Well, here's the kicker. I have to throw a little context in this for me to answer it. 1. If he wins a Super Bowl with those numbers, he's better than Favre on par with Rodgers.
Right.
If he wins 2 Super Bowls,
he's the greatest Packers quarterback.
He's already been doing more than what the last one did.
Yeah. So athletes today are not regressing, right? Yeah. Like they're progressing.
Last year, Love had 4,159 passing yards, 32 touchdowns,
so it's
11
not unrealistic.
These are not unrealistic expectations.
No, what was his interceptions? 12 or 15? 11. Yeah, sorry. My bad.
Dude, that's a fancy.
Yeah.
If he
had
wins
9
Super
games
Bowls-
with 2 touchdowns and 0
If
interceptions.
he does this for the next 4 years. When it comes to that 5th year
Yeah.
time to go, he could get whatever he wants.
Bro,
And here's the
it's
thing.
deeper than that. If he wins 2 Super Bowls
Even
as
if he
the
doesn't
Packers
win a Super Bowl,
quarterback,
that's the thing. Even if
Yeah,
he
just a
doesn't,
Super Bowl of contract. That's all I'm
this is
asking.
what I'm saying. If he wins 2 Super Bowls in a Packers uniform where Aaron Rodgers couldn't
he's
do
a
it,
GOAT.
and Brett, not just that, he solidifies himself as a first ballot Hall of Famer. Period, in my opinion, because to do it that quick and to outperform arguably 2 of the best quarterbacks to ever put on a professional football uniform, if you can outdo them, you solidify yourself as a first ballot Hall of Famer, and let alone the best quarterback in your team's history. Like,
I can give you the best quarterback in Green Bay history, especially if in the next 5 years you
Bart
win
Starr?
2. I'm like,
Listen, I love Bart Starr.
no disrespect.
I love his family.
No
I love
disrespect.
everything they've done. But
We're talking about
one played when the TV was black and white. The other one's playing in living color. So
he's the only other Packers quarterback I know. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, even if he doesn't win a Super Bowl and he throws those numbers over the next 4
it's
years,
possible. We are living through a Tom Brady right now. Is this the middle of Tom Brady 2.0, or is
We
this the
don't
end
know
of
yet.
Tom? Yeah, there has to be taken into consideration. Yeah. I do when we talk about Josh Allen. Not so much about Lamar. You can't be 2-4 and blame Patrick Mahomes.
He has a chokehold on that Lombardi trophy, though.
Josh Allen has a little bit, 5-5 but you can't be
I'm saying,
2-4 and go
yes.
Patrick Mahomes.
On the AFC side, Patrick
Look at we all
Mahomes
came
has
on.
it's
We all
literally
came to
you
that
can say
defense.
that in the AFC, the Super
Yeah.
Bowl goes to Kansas City almost
Oh,
every
Yeah. Or even if they're on the road, it goes through Andy Reid's double cheeseburger.
and his
It's
nuggets.
between you and Andy Reid's cheeseburger, and
he's
one way or
always
another,
gonna-
he's getting that cheeseburger.
Excellent segue into our playoff picks now.
Yeah, I love that. I love when the fan gets to come out in us every once in a while.
hell yeah.
Listeners may not believe it, but most of this is analytical. Okay, let's start with the AFC. We're going to start with a couple easy ones here. The AFC West, we have the Denver Broncos, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Chiefs. Who's going to be the surprise, and who's coming out of the playoffs?
Surprise for the West, I think Chargers. I think they're going to have a much better season than people think.
Do we consider that a surprise, though? Are we talking? Because it's assumed the over under numbers on wins is going to be higher this year than last year with a worse team and a terrible salary cap. But that's the John Harbaugh experience. We're going to get that regardless. I like that pick. It's just I don't know if I would feel surprised to see the Chargers do well, and maybe that's the Michigan in me. Maybe because I've been watching Michigan for
I think that might be true. I think with Harbaugh, this is the thing. Obviously, he's a winner. He's won everywhere he's gone, right? I think this is going to also be
San Diego State to
this is also going to
the
be
Appalachian Mountains.
the year that shows us what Justin Herbert really is. If you can't do it with Jim fucking Harbaugh as your head coach, you can't fucking do it. You can't. I'm sorry.
It may just be me, but I don't trust Justin Herbert. But that's
I don't
just
either.
me.
You know, here, let me throw this by you. A guy we've watched, terrible, but yet everyone who's close continues to say he's got it. Is that just, and I guess this is what we're going to find out, but was that a product of a terrible sideline? Or is in fact, can Justin Herbert be great? He just has had a cage around him, and now Harbaugh comes in and releases that cage.
This will be the year to find out.
I mean, because honestly, guys, let's be honest. A lot of people we respect, and we respect their opinion, keep telling us that Justin Herbert is somebody.
I think with me, when it comes to Justin Herbert, I think it's just you might be right.
Great topic, Mike.
I think his coaching staff has been abysmal. They've not been great. So the capability of him being a great quarterback is hindered because the play calling is bad.
Yeah.
So
They chased away
Jim
both
Harbaugh
receivers, Williams and Keenan Allen. So
Well, the play call. Not only has the play calling been bad, But up until Joe Alt, their offensive line has been absolutely trash.
One player is not going to change that whole.
And Corey Lindsey was,
they got another guy. They got another guy.
I'm not saying that Joe Alt is the be all end all. Right. He's not going to be Lane Johnson. He's not going to be Lane Johnson right out of the rip. But Joe Alt is probably a better lineman than San Diego has had in the past 5 seasons.
Yeah,
you're going with a coach who develops offensive linemen. Like Michigan has monster offensive linemen. They have for years. So I think this year is, like I said, this year's San Diego. The Los Angeles Chargers are, I think they're set. But I think the division winner for me is still Kansas City. Like you guys said, everything in the AFC runs through the Chiefs. It just does.
So, Patrick, I wanted to add a little bit on this real quick. When we were watching Harbaugh at Michigan, he did a lot with what most people thought were sub 4-star talent.
Yeah, mediocre.
It made it work.
The imagination that scenario creates for me in a world where now you're dealing with the best of the best. Because here, we're being honest, you can be trash on the NFL football field, but you're still the best of the best. You're just not the best, right? You know,
you made it on a team. You're a starter.
So
you're doing something.
So Harbaugh has always had the opportunity to, or his winning percentages at places, even you go San Diego State, I think it was. How the hell do you get a .656 win percentage in that?
It's nuts.
It's why I believe Prime will be a good coach eventually. You can't just go into a scenario and dominate the way you did if you're not great at what you can do, right? So,
yeah. Well, nobody had ever seen that style of offense before that they were running either. Colorado was not running typical Buffalo offense. He had his own video.
They will be lucky to get one or two
smart enough
wins
guy
this
to figure
season,
out how to do football.
Yeah.
The only other weakness I see San Diego having is the fact that their first round pick wide receiver from last year can't catch a goddamn cold.
Quentin Johnson?
Yes, that dude sucks. His hands are ass.
Patrick.
Yeah. They're going to be able to run the ball.
AFC, great takes, Mike. AFC West, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, or Chiefs? Who's your surprise, and who do you got taking the cake?
They got Kansas City taking the cake, and you've got San Diego probably competing for. Oh, you said playoff teams. I think they're both going to make the playoffs.
Oh, nice. So we've got our first wild card call out of the group. First wild card.
Their schedule actually make the playoff. No, I agree with Mike. I think they're going to be a lot better football team this year. They do have Gus. They have Gus Edwards and
J.K. Dobbins or whatever his name is.
Gus Edwards. Blake Corum.
Yeah, get a fucking soundboard.
They got Blake Corum. I forgot about that. Yeah, Blake Corum is going to be nice.
But they do have Rashawn Slater, who is an All-Pro.
Nice.
I think a lineman at one point.
I see where this is heading, but I love those takes. I love those takes, Patrick. And I think we did. I think we dived into the Chargers and Chiefs magnificently.
You're going to take the handcuffs off them.
I love it. PR, hit us with your best stuff.
First of all, I'm tired of you, Charles.
Tired of you. You didn't even got one yet. We're going to be tired.
I'm already tired. My surprise pick. Actually, I'm going to leave it to the last spot. The Chiefs are taking the AFC West.
Yes, sir.
It's not even. I'm tired of betting against them at this point because I always fail. It's just why even try going against the grain. I'm not doing it. At least not in this division. My surprise team is going to be the reincarnation of Drew Brees with Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos.
Son of a bitch. I knew I should have taken it first. It's PR and I are on the same page. So I got to hear mine. It's the Chiefs and the Broncos. I think the Broncos. Yeah, I think the Broncos are actually going to be a 9-win team this season. I think they're going to get 9, maybe 10 wins if some wind blows correctly. But I think the reincarnation of Drew Brees Jr., along with young, hungry, fast offense. When I used to play Madden back in the day, I remember beating the San Diego Chargers 95-17 on nothing but screen passes to Darren Sproles. I tell you it's coming, it's gonna hit, and I'd throw it every time, and it would be a touchdown every time. fucking what's his face down there? He just pissed everybody off for some. Sean Payton. Oh, yeah. Sean Payton does wonders with speed. I honestly, and keep drugs out of your mind, but he is the king of speed. I've never really seen. Mike McDaniels might take that cake down in Miami. He's got an opportunity to just do something great, but other than Mike McDaniels, I haven't really seen anybody utilize speed like Sean Payton does. Even when Kansas City with Tyreek Hill, Tyreek Hill was a safety net.
Their schedule is brutal.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But I still think that Drew Brees 2.0 is
okay, hold on here. I'm going to give you their schedule, right?
Yes.
Just go. Somebody do the fingers, and then Paul's going to go out the wins. All right.
Yeah.
Broncos, Seahawks.
Broncos.
Steelers.
Broncos.
Buccaneers.
Bucks.
Jets.
Raiders.
Broncos.
Chargers.
Broncos.
Saints.
Broncos.
Broncos.
Panthers.
Broncos.
All right, here's it gets tough.
The Ravens. Chiefs.
Falcons. They're not going to be able to score enough to
Broncos.
They're not going to be able to score enough to beat the Falcons.
I said what I said.
I said what I said
Raiders.
too. Who? Broncos.
Raiders.
Clean sweep of it.
Browns.
Or Browns. I give the Browns. Yeah.
Browns.
Colts.
Broncos.
Colts.
I think the Broncos could pull it off.
I do. I don't think they'll have Anthony Richardson that late in the season.
Yeah,
for once.
and then you got Bengals and Chiefs to end it. So they're
freaking. How many fingers is that?
That's a 9.
I said I think they could be a 9-win team.
Nobody said a playoff team. Nobody said
it's a surprise team.
It's going to be a surprise team. Making the playoffs is a stretch.
There's no wee woo sounds. There's no wee woo sounds here.
But
you said the Chargers were going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You just said surprise team. The Drew Brees 2.0 Denver Broncos.
I'm telling you.
He's not even projected to be the starter. How does that work?
But listen, right now, if he's playing how he continues to play, bro, he's playing against Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. If this dude doesn't win, he's not Drew Brees 2.0, bro.
Is that not the worst quarterback room in the NFL?
That's what I'm saying. It could. Hold on.
Drew Brees 2.0.
Hold on. I'm just saying, baby. Drew Brees 2.0.
We gotta go through this one of these days too. Let's go through the worst quarterback rooms in the NFL.
We will.
There's gonna be some names on there. We're gonna go.
Okay, so there was one wee woo. We've got the Chargers.
We're calling them out to make the playoffs. That's all right.
No, that's fine. But all of us have the Chiefs coming out as the playoffs. 2 of us did have the Chargers as a surprise / wee woo, and the other 2 of us had
10 wins because they do actually play the Chargers again.
Ooh, I don't.
I think
they're not sweeping the Chargers.
I think they switch. Yeah, if the wins blow correctly, they could get to 10, and I think that's what I meant when I said that.
I think
because last night when I was sleeping, I had a dream that I was a seagull flying, and when I landed in a coconut, and when I awoke, that told me that Drew Brees Jr. could win 10 games. So I thought I'd bring that to the podcast.
I like that you landed in a coconut.
I am tired of Carl. I am tired of him.
I think you guys are overestimating Bo Nix's capabilities.
And you're significantly.
As a rookie, probably.
I was just pissed on it. You're overestimating the sugar you put in a baked cake. All right, the AFC North time. AFC North coming in. We'll do this in a snake style. Right. AFC North, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bengals. So it's hard to pick against the Ravens to win the playoffs. You've got the best regular season quarterback of all time playing for you. So in order to keep that title, this has to remain true. So the Ravens win the division. My surprise is going to be on the opposite side of good, but everyone thinks that this Russell Wilson, Justin Fields experiment is going to work out for the Steelers, and I see it for what it is. This is an opportunity for you to get a number 2 draft pick next year because you picked up 2 dying contracts to take away cap space, and you're going to have a whole bunch of money next year coming in. Steeler Nation, get ready. The whole front office knows because Tomlin already got an extension, so they don't want to hear the noise about get rid of your coach. Right. This might be the very first losing season. I don't foresee anything special happening. You just can't write the book. So my surprise for you out there is that the Steelers are going to be a top 3 draft pick next year, and the Ravens take the cake. Go ahead, PR. Or comment if anybody has any.
I have the Ravens as well, taking the division.
Yes.
However, the surprise team that I have is I think the Browns are going to come in last in the division, and they're going to be under 500.
I don't know about that.
Deshaun Watson is not going to be that guy. That
You think that Cleveland's going to be a worse football team?
PR's telling everyone out there, put your money on the under for the Browns.
I think the Steelers are going to be better than the Browns this year.
I don't see that.
At being slightly the worst
team in the NFL. Yeah. Wow.
I don't think the Browns are going to be the good this year.
That would be
defensively they're going to be there, but I just don't think Deshaun Watson, again, he hasn't proved anything in the last few years. He's been injury since he's got there. I'm like, I don't think they can get Joe Flacco to do this miracle all over again. And then this is the thing. Yes, I know Nick Chubb is coming back. However, his leg also got snapped in half.
Yeah.
And as a running back,
terrible.
Your bread and butter are your feet and your legs, and one of your chopsticks are broken.
Yeah. I like that. I like how we've both picked a negative surprise out of this. To be honest with you,
Browns are going to be under 500 next year.
Yeah, I like that. So we both so far have two of us so far have the Ravens taking the cake. And we both, because this AFC North gets talked about a lot, so I'm not shocked here.
Division.
Yeah, so I think the Steelers are going to be a top 3 draft pick next year, and you think the Browns are going to be a sub 500 because Deshaun Watson's going to be terrible. I like that. Patrick.
I agree with Charles 100%. Baltimore, unfortunately, going to take the top spot, and Pittsburgh is just going to shit the bed for a draft pick and get a quarterback.
Yeah, I
100% agree with you. There's nothing I can say that I don't agree with.
I'm not mad at this one because Russell Westbrook is on a $1 million, $2 million contract. They're not getting a hit off of that.
Yeah, I think he left the Clippers.
and then Justin Fields, if he doesn't take the starting position off of Russell, it's basically they're washing their hands off of two quarterbacks that are going to make minimal impact moving forward, as far as on the salary cap. Which again, it gives you the space, like you guys said, to draft quarterback.
It's the best case of both scenarios. Steelers Nation needs to be prepared for the and they're getting they're going to get the best case scenario in both decisions. Okay, so let's go with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields ends up playing great. You don't got to look for a quarterback. All you got to do is fucking sign one. If you know the numbers. He might get it, he might not. But then you flip it on the opposite side. Let's say your two quarterbacks are terrible. They were both 1 year wish 'em could 'ems, and now you're in a position to take potentially a couple of the most electric quarterbacks coming out in a minute. So season hasn't played out yet, but we could see Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback, and he comes from a lineage that could produce. Who knows?
We'll see.
I mean, Colorado isn't losing games because of the kid. In fact, they're probably only winning because of him. Which, watch it all you want, I don't care. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Patrick. Mr. Chaos.
Okay, so I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. Not with the division winner, because I think the Ravens are gonna win the division.
Nice, I like that.
I think my surprise team. I think the Bengals are gonna go 8-9 and miss the playoffs.
I can see that.
I think the Browns are gonna be. I think the Browns are gonna be a playoff team along with the Ravens.
With Joe Shiesty.
All right, so we have a across-the-board winner. I like that. The Bengals and Browns, for both of you, they're terrible organizations historically.
Didn't the Browns owner start both of them at some point?
Yes.
Yeah. But congratulations to the fans. You brought the team back. Good job. But to be able to sustain success, there are specific blueprints. And when you haven't found that blueprint yet, but you've found how to win, it's hard to maintain those winnings. Yeah. To me, the Browns and the Bengals are on the, we'll say, precipice of solidifying a winning foundation. How they morph from where they are now to the next stage of their quarterback careers is when we're going to know specifically, because the Bengals are already managing a storm with this 3 number 1 wide receiver situation. So, yeah, I can foresee, that it would be shocking if both of those things happen. But then again, at Thanksgiving, I think we would probably be having the conversation. These are historically bad teams, and historically bad teams tend to not be able to sustain success. Why? Because we call them historically bad teams. Yep. So I like that. I expected another wee-woo out of that group, though. That's interesting.
I thought he said that the Browns were going to make the playoffs.
I said the Browns are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a wee woo.
I thought you said they're going to be 9-8.
No, I said the Bengals are going to be 8-9 and miss the playoffs, but
the Ravens and the Browns are going to.
Oh my God! I got so amped on that Bengals, I didn't even hear it. Wee-oo. So we got another wild card out of there. Thank you, group. Thank you, group. Don't hesitate to pick up. Soundboard's free, baby. The soundboard's free.
It's free.
You make your own wee-woo. We'll make it freaking mean.
The soundboard's
free. On how your wee-woo sounds.
Okay, religiously, Ravens across the board.
Yep.
1, Browns being terrible. 2, Steelers getting a top 3 draft pick. And 1 wee-woo with the Browns coming out of the playoffs for the wild card spot. That's interesting. So we will not have a solidified, potentially, we don't have a solidified wild card coming out of the AFC as a group.
Not that I can definitely say they're going to make the playoffs.
Because I can see the Chargers as a surprise wee-woo, absolutely. And
I can still see the Broncos possibly being a surprise wee-woo. Maybe, depending. No, probably not.
There's some winds that would blow in a direction.
It's a lot of
the AFC North would have to destroy themselves. The Jets would have to lose Aaron Rodgers 8 snaps in
there at some point.
Dolphins shit the bed. Colts, Texans shit the bed. But yeah, okay. So I'm just stuck here for a moment, gang, because the Browns to me are a wild card team, unless the surprise of PR happens. I do have the Browns as a wild card. I can definitely see that. AFC East: Bills, Patriots, Jets, Dolphins. Mr. Chaos.
All right. AFC East. I'm going to say the Dolphins take the division.
Wow. That deserves a wee-woo.
I'm going to say the Dolphins take the division.
Nobody made a sound effect for the No, wee-woo is a surprise wild card.
No, and my surprise is another negative.
Okay, all right.
I don't think the Jets see the playoffs this year.
I'm not really surprised at that one.
Like, I think they turn into a dumpster fire.
Okay.
I don't think they could score more than 17 points a game.
Not offensively.
And I don't know with the rest of the AFC that 17 points a game is going to get you into the wild card. But
even if they do get to the wild card, they only average 17 points a game.
Was their defense last year a Super Bowl contending defense?
At times.
Yeah, at times.
They had sparks of
consistently.
Yeah. They were always playing from behind, though.
What they have that is Super Bowl contendership is a defensive backfield. Their defensive backfield is disgustingly, insanely talented in Sauce Gardner.
It's beating the shit out of Garrett Williams and Aaron Rodgers.
Well, when you're down 13-0, your defense has to try to bend a little bit.
But you're only going to score 17 points a game. You're going to be down more often than not.
Especially in the playoffs.
Wait till you get to mine, and you're going to understand why I feel a little bit different.
Okay, I love that. All right. So the Jets shit in the bed as a surprise, and you have the Dolphins taking the cake, which you're right, Pierre. That did deserve a noise. Huh?
Bing, bing, bing for those. And
Wow. All right. Yeah, that's amazeballs. Patrick.
I got the Buffalo Bills taking the division, and I've got the New York Jets making the playoffs because Devontae Adams is 100% coming to the New York Jets.
You're on that ship.
And that gives Aaron Rodgers another weapon that he's very familiar with. And I don't care how bad the offensive line is. He knows Adams. Rodgers knows Adams. They're going to get the ball out of his hands so fast.
You know who else knows Rodgers?
Looking at the tea leaves. Yeah.
He knows him very well.
Looking at the tea leaves, Rodgers has gone from play boys with Garrett to scolding Garrett.
Yeah.
But they shook hands, though.
I did catch that.
Well, of course they shook hands, but you know who Aaron doesn't scold? Wide receivers he likes.
Devontae fucking Adams.
And he yells in game at wide receivers.
Be like, get that badass on the phone. I need to get my boy back.
I could be wrong, but I don't remember Aaron Rodgers scolding people like Devontae Adams or Jordy Nelson at practice.
No.
Jordy Nelson would have beat his ass. You yell at Jordy Nelson, he would have punched
you
him.
ain't got to tell me nothing about that long-haired hippie. I don't already know. I like that, Patrick. We had a wee-woo in there. The Bills. I do think the Bills are definitely. I like that. Go ahead, PR.
I think the Bills are going to win the division. I think even with the depleted team, I still think Josh Allen finds a way to do it.
Yeah.
My surprise team is the New England Patriots with winning 5 games this year.
5 games.
And possibly
games?
having their rookie quarterback contend for Rookie of the Year.
Ooh, you got corncob Drake, man.
Dude, that is the biggest hot take I've heard in a long time because they are the 32nd ranked
He took
team.
this surprise assignment very seriously.
You said they're going to win 5 games and Drake May's going to win Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I say compete.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say win. Compete.
Yeah.
Even that's still crazy.
If he wins 5 games, he should win
NFL.
Rookie of the Year with that crappy team.
In my subconscious, I was thinking about who I was going to pick, realizing I was a deciding factor. But then you smacked me right in the face with that, and I totally had no time to think about what was coming next.
I'm going to take you the other way with
wake up,
when we get to the
motherfucker.
NFC. Don't worry about it.
I'm here, and I ain't got no wee-woo or beep-beeps, but here it is.
Right, motherfucker.
So we got 2 Bills, 1 Dolphin. Jets are a no-go. Patriots are a go. Jets in the playoffs.
Now it's down to you, young man. What do you got?
The Bills' schedule is nice this year, Patrick.
Yep.
Dolphins not so nice.
Definitely favorable for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, to me, this is another Kansas City Chiefs-like scenario. Doesn't taste the same, but it'll definitely draw you in to get you to take a bite. I do. I like the Bills. I like the Bills to take the division. My surprise team this year. Man. I think the Jets are going to do what everyone says they're going to do.
Choke?
They're going to score 17 points a game. Their defense is going to be great. But in the NFL, 17 points a game just gets you talked about on TV. You're not going to do anything significant here. I would be shocked if the Jets aren't in the playoff conversation, though, to be completely honest with you, because there is enough terrible teams on their schedule that 17 points a game with that defense should be sufficient. But I think it's going to be the same scenario as the Dallas Cowboys last year. The Jets are going to look really good while playing from the front, and they're going to look terrible playing from behind. Because
I love it.
Unless Davante Adams shows up, there is no chemistry on that team. And if you're expecting Alan Lazard to carry you over that 17-point marker, I'm here to tell you, you tried to trade him, and no one would take him, and you can't cut him.
Second-ranked running back in the NFL, so.
No, I do. It's hard to disagree with you there, Patrick. I know I used a lot of really weird pathways to get there, but the Bills and the Jets, I think, are talked about in this division the most. AFC South. Jaguars, Colts, Texans, Titans. I think the Texans win this division. And I'm not going to be shocked about anything other than the Colts winning 10 games. Everything else in that division is going to play out how it's going to play out. You're writing a book with the same pages over and over again in this division here. I don't. The only reason I say the Colts winning 10 games is going to shock me is that's because Anthony Richardson made it the whole season. Yeah. This individual had a sub 52% completion on short to intermediate throws. Yeah. So you're either throwing dimes all day and getting interceptions, or your quarterback's going to be hurt. I would just be damn shocked if the Colts fucking win 10 games.
For me, I got the Houston Texans winning the division for sure. It just seems the most logical thing. My surprise team, I think, and I'm pretty sure, the Titans will be competing for the top 2 picks in the draft next year. They, for some reason, some of those Titan fans think because they got D-Hop and Calvin Ridley that they're going to be this fantastic team with Pollard in the back. And I think they forget that you have to have an offensive line to be able to get to them guys. And I still don't trust Will Levis.
Yeah.
So
I can definitely see that.
That's my shit today.
Patrick. Oh. Wait, yeah. Sorry. Woo. Patrick.
This is an only, like you said, this is over the top. This is only a one team makes the playoffs, winner take all division. Yeah, you got the Houston Texans and there's nobody else. Like the only thing that you said, and I like to see a healthy Anthony Richardson as well, but the best you can hope for with that team is 8, 9, 10 wins. So
your growth needs to occur, and
that's not my stinker. My stinker is Trevor Lawrence signing that big contract and completely shitting the bed this year with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No free Waffle House trips from him this year.
No,
right?
That's what I think. I think they're going to be so far out of the playoffs by like week 8, people are going to be questioning themselves in Jacksonville.
Who is the best quarterback in that division?
CJ Stroud.
It's got to be CJ Stroud.
PR.
CJ Stroud.
It's weird that you give a guy $255 million and in no question in anybody's mind he's at best the second best quarterback.
You want to know why? Because in the same context that you're supposed to be this top quarterback, Houston Texans came in the previous year with 2 wins. Jacksonville took forever to get to where they're at, and even where they're at is still subpar. Yet you have a team in Houston that drafted pretty great last year when it came to C.J. Stroud and everybody after that with Anderson, Tank Dell, everything, and go from a 2-win team to a 10-win team and a division win. So the so-called, like Mike likes to call them, this bred generational talent that's supposed to be Trevor Lawrence, which I still think he's a good quarterback, but to say that in 4 years you've done the exact same thing that C.J. Stroud has done in 1 year when it comes to the playoffs, and yet you got $250 million worth of money for the same outcome, that's wild to me.
I like that take, Patrick. I like that take. And I agree with you, PR. Absolutely. Mr. Chaos.
So, Texans, obviously, like we said, this is a one-horse race. And it's C.J. Stroud, and that's it. My surprise is that I think the Titans go 2-15.
Okay, nice.
And that's not that controversial. If you look at everybody's faces, it's a believable.
Yeah, I like PR or Patrick has mentioned many times too. Chaos, you bring it up. Outside of the ridiculousness that is Trevor Lawrence, the roller coaster that is, good luck Jaguars. I think we're all pretty comfortable with the fact that the Titans are going to be a terrible team. I just don't see Will Levis. Nothing happened last year that made me think Will Levis was going to be great.
He didn't move the needle enough for me to trust him.
And the Titans didn't do anything this offseason for me to think, hey, that guy's going to make this guy better. In fact, everything they did made me think, wow, that guy's only there for money.
Yeah.
That was definitely any big contract that they signed was definitely you just chasing the bag because nobody else.
They should have went out. They should have brought Tannehill back.
Yeah.
That would have been
real.
Jared Goff just got a bunch of money. Why can't Ryan Tannehill?
Or at least they should have signed a competent backup for Will Levis, somebody.
Yeah.
But
so across the board, we've got the AFC West Chiefs. We got the AFC North Ravens. The AFC East was the only non-unanimous. We did have a single Dolphins, but 3 for the Bills. And then the AFC South, we all went for the Texans. Well done, gentlemen. Well done, gentlemen. NFC East. I'll start us off. Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants. At this point, the Eagles should win the division.
Yeah,
and I don't think if the Eagles don't win the division, I don't think it's because another team was better. I think it's because the Eagles beat themselves. I think that's what it'll ultimately come down to. I do think a wild card team comes out of the NFC East, be it the Cowboys or the Eagles. But I've got the Eagles taking the division, and my surprise in this one is going to be the New York Giants. I think they're comfortably going to get to 9 or 10 wins. I think Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors are going to be fun to watch. And I think that dynamic is going to open up Singletary to do a little more. The Giants themselves are a terrible organization, and they have a really weird way of doing things, but they're in the Big Apple, so I think the Giants are going to surprise everyone here. Patrick.
I'm in agreement with you. Philadelphia Eagles on paper, that's not even a question on who the most talented team is this year. Offensively, defensively, they should win it. Surprise team, like you said, Giants. I do see a playoff team. I do see Dallas making the playoffs, though. They're good enough to make the playoffs. So there's another ding, 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 ding. Playoff team.
Yeah. It's hard.
I'm banking on neighbors as well. I went out and bought a $160 card, a 1 of 1. Because Charles convinced me that he's going to have this fantastic season, and I've seen
videos out
other
of training
cards
camp
go a year later for $16,000. So let's hope that this card goes up 100x what I paid for it. So
yeah,
that would be awesome.
Fingers crossed. PR, hit us with it.
All right, so my winner, I think, with everything Dallas has not done and still hasn't done in this offseason, just doesn't let me believe that they're going to repeat as champions. On paper right now, Philly has the most complete offensively defensive team built right now in the NFC East, so it's literally their division to lose at this point. Now my surprise team, who I also think will be a wild card team, the Washington Redskins.
Commodores.
You
The
heard
Washington football team.
The Washington Commanders will actually make the playoffs, and the Cowboys will not.
Ooh, that would be a surprise.
Wait. Did you just say the Washington Commanders are going to make the playoffs and the New England Patriots are going to make the playoffs?
I said New England's going to get 5 wins.
Oh.
Old boy's going to compete for Rookie of the Year.
So that means Jaden Daniels is your pick for Rookie of the Year then?
Well, it depends what Caleb Williams does. I still got a dog in the fight. Calm all that shit down.
I don't know. As bad as Washington was, he'd have to pull miracles out of his ass. Like
50 over 50
Lucky
Sacks.
Charms.
Hey, it's a surprise. It would be a surprise.
I'm just saying.
It'd be a surprise to almost everyone here.
It was a surprise to me because it caught me off guard.
I did my job.
Yeah, he can wear some high tops and tape those ankles. Maybe he'll be all right.
This guy.
That's what pads are for, Charles.
Yeah. Mr. Chaos.
I, like everybody, am calling the Eagles to win it. On paper, they're so talented. And I, like everybody, has been watching my team's practices and camp so far. And I'm really encouraged, not only on the offensive side, but Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are slimmer. They're in better conditioning. Our defensive backfield is much younger now, thank God, and much, much faster. So I think our defense is going to be significantly improved. I think it's going to be hard to score on Philly this year. My surprise is the Washington Commanders go 10-7 and on our wild card team, and Dallas misses the playoffs.
Dallas misses the playoffs. All right.
Reggaeton horn.
It's hard to argue that, but we do have the Eagles across the board coming out of the NFC East. Our Thanksgiving rankings are going to be interesting. I really enjoy this. Okay, so this one we did the snake last time. We're going to do it a little different because I'm realizing that the power is within the beholder here. So Patrick, we're going to start with you. NFC West: Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, 49ers.
Just like the Eagles, there's not a question on paper with the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in the NFC next to the Eagles. It's 1A, 1B with the Eagles and 49ers, let's be honest. San Francisco coming back, CMC. We're talking another MVP caliber season. I think that San Francisco is going to go 13 and 4 this year. Yeah. 13-4. Your surprise team this year is going to be the Arizona Cardinals coming back with a healthy Kyler Murray. They might make the playoffs, but they probably won't. They're going to be a 10-win team. They're going to be right there.
Right there. I like that. I'm on the same page as you. I'm going to do 49ers as the division lead. I don't think anything is going to surprise me with the Seahawks or the Rams. They
are who they are.
They are who they are. I do believe Rams will be a wild card team, but the Cardinals, the Rams will be a playoff team, a wild card team, but the Cardinals, absolutely. The resurgence of Kyler Murray is real. Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr., along with, I believe the running backs with James Conner, isn't the
James
running
Conner's
back
still there?
Yeah, and they've got a pretty decent offensive line. They're not making waves, but they're not causing waves. So yeah, I like Arizona to hush the critics, and hopefully the owner starts buying better food. Mr. Chaos.
All right. I'm going to lockstep with everybody. Niners are going to win the division. I think they are head and shoulders above anybody else in their division. Yep. My surprise involves two teams. Yep. I think the Cardinals and the Seahawks are going to have the same record. And I think they both missed the playoffs. I think the Rams could be a wild card team.
Okay. So, PR, it's not a very excited last pick this time for you, but
I'm like
49ers so far?
The 49ers are if anybody goes
are you
against
tired?
49ers. Like it's like the most easiest pick. It's you're cheating at this point. Yeah. And you're stupid if you don't pick the 49ers to win this division. Injury has to be the only thing that plagues them to lose this division and not make the playoffs. And
I think their coaching staff is good enough to deal with significant injuries.
To go against San Francisco as the division winner, you've got to be smoking crack laced with PCP or something. It's bad. I am in agreement with you guys on the surprise team as the Cardinals. I think Kyler Murray having Marvin Harrison Jr. there and the already somewhat decent offense, and to see what their defense is going to be now and actually have a legit head coach now in Gannon, I think Kyler Murray has a comeback year where he could possibly win comeback player of the year coming off that ACL injury and could possibly it could be a playoff team, but I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed it, but it wouldn't shock me if they get a wild card spot. It wouldn't be the biggest shock in the system.
But Patrick, can you hit us with a wah, wah, wah? If we're all sitting here talking about the Cardinals doing something special, I don't know if that could be as shocking as the rest of us think, but well done. So we do have the 49ers coming across the board. Universal Cardinals as a surprise, minus Mr. Chaos, but the universe works in mysterious ways, so we don't question it. I do like his takes, though, on the Seahawks. I love Mike McDonald, but this is not a defensive league, and no matter how much the owners want to try and push it, I think we're going to find that out drastically, along with the Commanders. The NFC South, starting with Mr. PR. Saints, Falcons, Buccaneers, Panthers.
I think the Bucs take the division, and the surprise are the Panthers, but not as negative as you think.
I think you haven't watched any training camp video of Bryce Young.
I think they actually, I guess you can consider this bad. They could possibly come back for the number one seed for the third year in a row.
I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there, bro.
So I'm like, it's just bad, man.
Dude, did you see that?
Bad.
I'm gonna get that meme off TikTok where it's the Carolina Panthers logo. It's a mascot and a New England Patriots guy, and they're both fucking a doorknob, and they're for the number one, trying to open the door for the number one pick.
Carolina is just.
And I understand, one of our last episodes, Patrick, even I was befuddled at the fact that the Panthers have like one of the richest owners in the league outside of the Walmart group.
If they find a way to win a game next year, I will be surprised.
I'm telling you, dude, I think Bryce Young is going to throw 20 interceptions this year, man.
It's just bad in Carolina, right?
He's probably still not going to break. What is his name? Not Watson.
Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
Does he get the most
Mr. 40-40?
Mr.
30-30?
Was it 30-30?
Now, Bryce could be the first 40-40 guy. There ain't no one behind him. What's Carolina going to do?
If he gets the 40 touchdown and doesn't pull off a win next year, that's got to go down.
I'm sorry. I meant the 4 for 4. The 4 for 40.
The 4 for 40.
Four touchdowns, 40 interceptions.
It'll be 80 for Brady. It'll be 40 for 40.
The season that wasn't.
I don't think Carolina wins a game. A single game.
That would be surprising. Carolina not winning a season game.
Getting the first overall pick. Technically, you traded last year's because you traded.
Wow, and the rest of the NFL isn't getting better around them because Carolina is abusing this number one draft pick system. Mr. Chaos.
So I'm going to be controversial in this one again. I say the Saints are going to win the NFC South. I have zero faith in Baker Mayfield to repeat his performance from last year. My surprise out of the NFC South. The
resurgence of Mayfield ended one season after it was resurrected with the Rams. Interesting.
My surprise team out of the NFC South is that the Falcons outperform everybody's expectations. And they show that they can be dangerous with a decently competent quarterback.
Really?
Yep.
So with the Saints winning, are we talking the Falcons in a less than competitive NFC on paper becomes a wild card team?
I don't know if they're good enough to become a wild card team, but I think
expectations in Atlanta are division win.
Is that for?
To say that
for
there's
real?
going to be two players come out of the NFC South is absurd.
Okay, then no, I can't. Just because of the history of that division, I can't sign off.
It would be a surprise. It would be the surprise of surprises.
There's no way that there's going to be two playoff teams in the NFC South.
I think the Falcons go 9-8. I think they're just above 500, which is, if you listen to actual NFL analysts and people who get paid to say this shit on TV, everybody's expecting an 8-9 or 7-10, 7-10 season for this team, except Falcons fans apparently. But for me, I think they're going to be a 9-8 team, and I think they're going to be better than a lot of people think they are.
Huh? I like it. I'm setting Patrick up for a doozy because I'm not a Falcons fan, but I do believe Atlanta is coming out of this division. I look at it, and if you play each other, this many times, the Falcons to me are better than the Bucs, way better than the Panthers.
Who's the best quarterback in that division?
Right now, it's Kirk Cousins.
And it's not even close.
Yeah, and not to knock your pick here, Chaos, but we're talking. Derek Carr goes over 20 touchdowns and under 12 interceptions. I just don't see that happening. I've watched Kirk Cousins for a minute now at this point. I think we all have. He's been in both of our divisions, and he's got 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns and less interceptions.
And make it past the second round.
But playoffs is a different story.
We're not talking about winning it.
So I think the Falcons take the cake in this one, and my surprise team is there's nothing in this division that's going to surprise me other than the Panthers winning 2 games.
Again.
Yeah. If the Panthers get to 2 games, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So
I don't see that happening.
Patrick, we've got a 3-way going on right now.
Just wait.
So we've got the Falconeers, the Buccaneers, or the Falconeers. The Falcons.
What the
Buccaneers.
No team in this division tried to set themselves up for success other than the Atlanta Falcons by getting Kirk Cousins. Nobody else did anything. Did nothing in the playoffs, or not in the playoffs, but did nothing in the draft. They did nothing in free agency.
Nothing significant.
No, except for getting Kirk Cousins. And I hate to say it, but they won 7 games last year with a terrible offense. They improved their offense dramatically.
Was it 3 quarterbacks they went through?
Yeah. They went through 3 quarterbacks, won 7 games. And not only that, they said they're taking the handcuffs off Bijan Robinson.
Praise the Lord.
Let the boy run.
That's a problem. He's a problem.
Feed him
The
more.
only question with this team, Kirk Cousins is going to get the ball. It's their defense.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Defense versus good teams. I can't say it. They did beat the Packers last year.
Yeah.
Their defense can be good, but their defense is mediocre. It's average.
Well, the problem that they have is there's 0 pass rush in Atlanta. 0.
Yeah, there's no pass
now,
rush.
I know they picked up, didn't they? Who did they pick up? I thought they picked up somebody defensively, like a small name defensive, but they
were supposed to, but then drafted Penix.
The only benefit to them is they got 2 games versus 2 teams that they should go 4-0 in their division against, and that is the freaking Saints and the Carolina Panthers.
Well,
so there's 4 wins right there.
And
I think they'll go 1-1 versus the Tampa Bay.
I agree with you, Patrick. You've got 4 wins there, and worst case scenario for the Falcons is you split the other 2 games. So you've got 6 wins there. You have to find 4 more in a league filled with teams like the Commanders, the Titans, the realistic Giants.
The NFC, let's be honest, the NFC is a weaker division than the AFC is.
Yeah. 9 or 10 wins that division. 9 or 10 wins that division.
Oh, absolutely. If you get 10 wins, you're definitely on top of that division.
And then your sleeper is the Carolina Panthers, just allowing Bryce Young to just suffer through it for 1 more season and probably not win a football game, like Paul said, plus or minus 2 wins.
Do you think
next year you're the Carolina Panthers? Do they take Shedeur Sanders or Carson Beck?
For disappointment. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Do you
the
think
Panthers
that,
I think the Panthers take Sanders.
I think
take Sanders for sure.
I think Mr. Young might get sacked the most times in a single season.
Jaden Daniels has a hold my beer comment to that. I'm just on it.
Yeah, but Jaden Daniels is more athletic than Bryce Young is.
Mm-hmm. He's going to run right out of his ankles.
If Jaden Daniels takes that record as a NFC East guy, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I'm okay.
All right.
It just means you guys, your D-line fed. Fed
so,
good.
We're coming up on the most important division in football history.
Football.
And we are starting off with a Patrick here in the NFC North.
Oh, boy.
Vikings, Lions, Bears, Packers, in case you needed to know.
On paper, we'll play the analytic game. On paper, you've got Minnesota as probably the worst team in the division on paper.
Ceiling-wise, yeah, I agree.
Ceiling-wise, and I'll go with my stinker first. My stinker is going to be the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah,
and the fact
coming in last.
We're probably going to see our boy out there at quarterback for them sooner than later.
Good.
So
more interceptions for that Green Bay defense.
Probably going to be out there throwing tutties and interceptions nonstop.
Yeah. This is a football season in Michigan. You calm your ass down. In the offseason, I say many great things about this young man. But during the football season in the NFC North,
in between those lines,
he's going to feed our Green Bay defense. That's what I'm telling you right now. I like that, Patrick. I like that.
Schedule-wise, it doesn't set up well for the Packers to win the division. They will make the playoffs, though. Packers will make the playoffs. 11 wins. And unfortunately, the Detroit Lions schedule sets up more for them to win 12 or 13 games. And they're probably going to win the division.
Okay. I see where you're going with this. Okay. Here's my thing. All right? Is that the Lions are a historically bad organization, and sustained success is not possible for them. Okay? Until history shows me otherwise.
The Lions have won back-to-back division titles before, so back-to-back would be against their MO, but not back-to-back. So
in the last 12 years, the only team who's done that in the NFC North is the Green Bay Packers. All right? If they do, I'll send their organization a box of chocolates. But as far as I'm concerned,
pineapple pizza.
Analytical or is this fandom?
No, this is analytical fandom wise. All right, gotcha. The Lions are going to be a good team, but we've watching the NFL. Teams like the Kansas City Chiefs aren't around very often. Okay, teams like the Green Bay Packers. This isn't the '80s. Okay, you're not getting this decade-long, 5, 6, 7 long, even 4-year-long stretch with the Green Bay Packers right now. I haven't seen it before, and I understand as a Packer fan, yada, yada, but I haven't seen it before. I love the Lions. I think they're going to be a wild card team. Absolutely. But the reason I think they're going to be the wild card team, they're going to be the number one wild card spot out of the NFC because they're going to have the most wins of the wild card team in the NFC because the NFC North is going to be a dog ran thing. And I believe it does come down probably to that last game of the year. But I think, or Thanksgiving, one of the two, but regardless, I believe the Lions come out with, the Green Bay Packers win the division with 13 wins. I believe the Lions will have 11 to 12 wins. There are a handful of games that the Lions should win, and they're not going to. And it's until they do, I can't be proven otherwise because they haven't yet.
The Packers play the 49ers on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Oh, man, that's going to be rough.
They better have that. That's going to be is that in San Francisco?
Or is it rough for San Francisco? I agree.
That's home.
Then I think that's going to be rougher for San Francisco than
it's in Lambeau. Ooh,
I think it's going to be. Here's the thing. It's going
to be hard for them to play in that cold ass.
Yeah, the 49ers have had the Green Bay's number for a minute. That's over.
This might.
It should have ended last year.
They should be able to.
Yeah, it should have been over last year.
Yeah.
I believe that was the ripple in the water that will continue the waterfall.
That's a fantastic Thanksgiving game, though. Regardless, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be. I can't wait.
That's going to be a fucking barn burner game.
Now, my surprise for the division, and I'm # sorry not sorry Chicago, but I think I do like PR's take on Drake May. I hate to say this, but Tiny Ankles and Drake May, I believe, are going to be in the contending for Rookie of the Year. The NFC North is too terrible. I think the pressure is going to get to Caleb. I really do. I think that it's going to be a rough first year for Caleb. but I believe that he has the IQ to take that failure and form it into something formidable in the future. I just do not see it with Caleb right now. Nothing he's done in college. You tell me he won the Heisman, that's great. Everybody gets stats in the Pac-12. Look at 93-year-old Bo Nix. But nothing I've seen tells me otherwise, and I believe that's going to shock way too many people.
Thanksgiving.
Well, we will. Trust me. The easiest part of the schedule leading up to Thanksgiving, and I'll have a lot to say.
We'll see.
We will see. Your division starts at the end of that. But anyways, I believe my surprise is Caleb Williams and the Bears being who I think he is. And Packers take the division with the Lions being the number 1 wild card.
Well, my bad. Thanksgiving's on the 28th this year. They played the Dolphins. Thought it was the 24th.
Ooh, nice.
So it's Thursday night. Thursday night game they played.
Yeah. We play the Lions in back-to-back Thursday nights. Not like back-to-back, but our Lions games this year
My bad.
are on Thursday nights. Still going to be a great Thanksgiving game day.
That's going to be still a fire game.
And Miami plays in Green Bay on Thanksgiving?
It's in Green Bay. It's in Green Bay, though, still.
That's bad for Miami.
They suck. All right, Chaos.
Look, let's be completely real.
Even better. Let's keep it.
I think Green Bay takes the division. I like Detroit a lot. They have talent on their offense. I just think adding Josh Jacobs to an already potent offense that was just lighting people up last year is going to have a bigger impact than I think a lot of people think.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Green Bay comes out of the division. My surprise team is I say the Bears are a playoff team. I don't think they'll get out of the
playoff teams coming out of the NFC North.
I don't think they're going to get out of the first round or the wild card round. But
that's fine. I'm fine with that.
I don't care. I just want to see that postseason banner up there.
I don't care.
I think they're a playoff team.
I'm going to have a rough Thanksgiving if any of that comes into fruition.
We told you, motherfucker.
I'm not even going to enjoy my turkey.
You're going to be spitting it out while you're yelling.
These motherfuckers were
Damn
right.
Bears!
They ruined a perfectly good day.
PR, you've got a pretty crazy position in front of you here. Right now we have 2 for the Green Bay Packers, 1 for the Detroit Lions, a surprise for the Bears, a bad surprise for Minnesota, and remind me, Chaos? Your surprise was I'm sorry. Yeah, because it was so fucking
Bears.
wild. Your surprise was the Bears.
I can't wait for you to swallow that crow one day.
It's only been 32 years. Maybe it'll happen. So, PR, the odds are in your favor, right? The longer I'm alive. Longevity, right? We talk about this all the time. It gets you 5,199 turnovers.
He got to watch the Chicago Cubs win a World Series. So at this point, it's all bonus time.
It's all downhill.
I'm on borrowed
It's like
time
the
now.
eternal flame labeled hope sitting in the Chicago Bears chest.
Y'all
sorry.
You ever seen the movie Encanto? With the little candle with the flames? Yep. That's my candle. It's barely lit, but it's lit.
It's there.
Yeah, you got to get a tattoo. Pete's Dragon, and then you date it the year the Cubs won the Super Bowl. I'll be your, or they can't.
If the Cubs
they won the World Series,
we got big problems.
Yeah, candle on the water. All right, PR, hit us with that magic.
By no surprise, we all know that I hate the Packers. They can just suck the biggest toe on any planet, this planet, any multiverse planet. They can suck a fat.
It's on a body
toe.
built by winning, but yeah, keep going.
However, the Detroit Lions are going to win the division. They are going to be back-to-back champs.
You son of a bitch! Now we gotta send this off to the comment section. It's undecided. We got 2 and 2.
So Detroit
the people
is
got to
winning the
decide.
division.
Sorry.
The Green Bay Packers will make the playoffs as a wild card team.
Thanks for the consolation prize, Dick.
You're welcome.
I gave it to you.
You like that?
You like that?
So my surprise team is also a negative.
Yeah.
It is the Minnesota Vikings. It's like a 2-parter. 1, I don't think Sam Darnold's make it past week 2.
Ooh.
And even with J.J. McCartney being the starting quarterback, I don't think they win more than 6 games.
I want to rock.
You don't think the Vikings
they're gonna
win more than 6 games?
Nah.
No, I think they're going to be really bad this year too.
I think JJ McCartney.
Does 6 wins fuck you out of the top 5 spot this year's?
Probably not.
No,
I don't think so.
I think you got what 3 or 4 wins probably.
because I think the top pick is 0 to 3 wins. I think the top 2 picks are 0 to 3
Carolina
wins.
and New York. I don't give a fuck what y'all say.
Yeah.
Possibly New England.
You'll be like, I don't care. We're not going to be in it. Charles and I will be there to witness it anyway. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I think Minnesota, if they win 6 games, they've met their quota. But I'm like, I just don't think JJ McCartney has the same spectacular type feel in Minnesota that he had in Michigan. Also, that was due in part to Jim Harbaugh being there, very much. And I just don't see, if Sam Darnold couldn't do it in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan, there's no fucking way that he's going to be able to do it in Minnesota and last there. More than 2, maybe 3 weeks tops before Jay takes over. I'm with Patrick.
I think we see him week 6, and he's already thrown interceptions.
But I don't see them winning more than 6 games, to be honest.
Oh man, that
sucks
for Justin Jefferson. That really sucks for JJ.
It's that defense.
There's no way that you're gonna think, as much as we harp on Kirk Cousins on his playoff inabilities. In the regular season,
he had a great rapport with the lead receiver.
Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins were a duo. And there's no way on this earth that anybody's going to tell me that Sam Darnold or J.J. McCartney is going to be able to produce the exact same type of play for Jay Jettas in Minnesota for the next 2-3 years.
Probably not in the first season. You give him a couple of years, maybe.
This year is not going to be a good year for Justin Jefferson stat-wise.
Yeah.
He's going to – if he gets there, it's because he – busted his ass. He did it himself.
Because didn't he just sign a big extension?
But Minnesota doesn't have anybody else to pay. They can afford that kind of ridiculous.
But it's not even it's just
dump it 2 years from now. It'll be like he'll be on a playoff team 2 years from now. Maybe the Green Bay Packers.
Sam Darnold and Jim McCartney are not going to do.
Good Lord!
I'm not talking about that shit because it's not happening.
The NFC North takes our trash all the time. Every once in a while, we get to pull a diamond out of the rough.
If he's going to go anywhere, he's going to Cincinnati.
Green Bay Packers,
Take 2 seconds and think about Justin
How
Jefferson
amazing that would be
on the Green Bay Packers.
Oh
That's
my
terrifying
God.
as fuck.
Can I give you ESPN's fantasy prediction stats for Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold is the projected starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
Let me guess, over 3,000 yards.
No, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns.
He's not making it past week 3.
They don't even project him to make it past week 5, 6.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
it must be the
you
hard
know what?
rock.
It's not real. It's not unrealistic.
Again,
because
Sam Darnold couldn't do it in San Francisco in one of the most quarterback-friendly systems.
You believe it's already a quarterback by committee in Minnesota?
Yes. At this point, it has to be. I think they're just giving it to Darnold at this point. 1, because he's a veteran, and 2,
it's your job to lose.
Basically.
Yeah.
Imagine being in a division where you know what doing the quarterback position looks like and still not being able to figure it out. That's crazy to me.
Because he's been behind how many quarterbacks?
That's called the New York Giants.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying the Minnesota Vikings have watched the Green Bay Packers get quarterback after quarterback right. I can't go any further than that. But yet they continue to try and do it their own way. It's weird.
I'm trying to think. Kirk Cousins might be their best quarterback since
drafted by Washington,
since Culpepper.
Culpepper,
Holy shit.
That's just crazy to me.
That was like the early 2000s.
Yeah. That's
well, I mean, they're not the only one, but
hi. My name
I was thinking about the Lions, but if you want to talk about the Bears a little bit, what were you going to say?
No,
we suck at quarterback.
No, that's not true. You've sucked at picking quarterbacks.
What's the difference you've had from Joe Montana?
Joe Montana.
There's no clear difference.
All right, this became very interesting for us. The NFC East, we have a walk with the Eagles. The NFC West, we have a walk with the 49ers. The NFC South, we did not have a walk, but did find a winner with the Atlanta Falcons. The NFC North, we need your help. Those of you out there will have this readily available as soon as possible. The NFC North, we are split Packers, Vikings. We are 2 for the Packers and Vikings.
Lions.
Sorry.
Nobody said Vikings.
No Vikings.
Sorry about that. You're not there yet. But well, I got that. Yeah. But anyway, so we got 2 for the Lions.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Thanksgiving. 2 for the Lions and 2 for the Packers. So we need your help, audience. Comment, whatever you need to do. Let us know who you think is going to win the NFC North. Is it going to be the Green Bay Packers or is it going to be the Detroit Lions? And we would greatly appreciate it. Patrick, you and I are going to have to bounce that bracket.
No, I think we'll do it in the chat tomorrow. We'll just vote over it and we'll do it tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, perfect. I love that. Okay, cool. Because I was going to say we might have to bounce it to tomorrow. Because this was such a fun-filled episode, one dad joke and then a random U.S. fact.
An executive at Honda was told that she either needed to resign her position or she would be fired. She decided to leave on her own accord.
Oh my God.
All right, that earned another one. Give us another one. Do you have another one ready?
Oh my God.
My wife told me I would never advance in my career because I procrastinate so much. Just wait, I said.
Oh,
I do this all the time.
Okay. That was awesome. In lieu of saving time, we are just going to do a random United States of America fact. In 1783, the United States became the first country to gain independence from a European power. That's just one more thing we can beat you at, Europe. Remember, don't forget.
Motherfuckers.
Number 2, the United States owns and operates the Global Positioning System, GPS. So for all you nuts out there who think, oh no, the United States is going to be destroyed, the rest of the world wouldn't know how to drive a car. You're welcome. Number 2, 3, the phrase United States of America was first published anonymously in the Virginia Gazette newspaper in 1776. And there was one more in there. The U.S. is the world's largest economy by nominal GDP and the 3rd most populated country after China and India. For all you out there who think there might be grass greener on the other side, as long as you're talking about the other side of the United States, you're correct. Because anywhere else in the world, you're number 2. That's all there is to it. We love you. We're grateful for you. All of you. We care about all of you. And we appreciate all of you. The world is a much better place with you in it. We love you more.